so many great teams in front of them.
Totally. We have an amazing matchup coming up next. The other side of our winners
There we go.
bracket. We're going to be looking at
The YouTube stream is on as well.
Version 1 versus Orange Juicers, an open bracket team with an amazing run versus one of the most historic.
Alright guys, I need to step out for like 1 second. Well, not 1 second, but like 1 minute. In the meantime, I'll just leave the stream on. I'll be coming right back. I just need to converse with the family really quickly.
Very soon with more Pokemon Unite here at the North America Regional Finals. Do not go anywhere. We, of course, cannot because we have to guard Kaiju Dubsnax and make sure he stays in the wall. We'll be right back, everybody. Yeehaw.
Okay, I'm back. One Chen coaching on these matches? Oh, they lied! Orange Juicers didn't get disqualified? Where'd they get that information from? I'm disappointed. I thought there was some drama happening. But we got Orange Juicers versus version 1? No, there's no drama apparently. So, okay, so before I started watching, I saw someone saying in chat, like in the actual live stream chat, that Orange Juicers got disqualified, but yeah, apparently that's not true. It was I said allegedly, by the way, allegedly. Also, I gotta order food for Mother's Day, so I'm gonna be like, if I'm looking down a lot, like literally, it's probably because I'm looking at my phone ordering food for the family for Mother's Day. So don't mind me. I am watching the games, I promise you. We haven't done Drama Sunday in a while. Dude, you think I'm gonna drama farm Unite? I will. But there has to be good drama.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the North America Regional Fun. What happened?
I don't know. Killo's had some 10 feet back.
We are back here for your regional finals in the NA region. Spraggles, Zoinks, Kellosaurus, and Wonder Chef. What an exciting time it's been. Obviously, we got to see Luminosity. They looked absolutely incredible in their first match. A tip of the cap to them. Our studio is in Texas.
It certainly is, and everyone got that, I think. I hope so. Well, we have a
What was the
very
whole
exciting
bracket?
matchup.
I'm gonna go. I'll look for it right now.
First match, of course, this is going to be a Worlds qualification matchup. One of these two teams will be going to the World Championships because they'll be ending up in the winners finals.
Yeah, that is really exciting to see. Orange Juicers, as you
Hold
mentioned,
on.
just a team that has been so prolific in the NA region. But I'm kind of curious, which type of orange juice are we going to get today? We're going to get Pulp or we're gonna get no pulp. I don't know which one is better.
one's better?
That
Yeah, that's a
is
great question.
obviously
Which is
up to you. I mean, well, what's your favorite?
Thing is,
orange
their
juice?
Twitch rallying cry
Yeah.
is pulp up. I think
Huh?
lack of
No, I'm sure they posted at the
They
beginning
want more
somewhere.
they
Want more
want
pulp?
Okay.
More pulp?
more
Controversial choice here, but I don't need that much pulp. I don't
That's
need
not it.
to know how much fruit it took to make the drink.
I want pulp. Give me a milkshake of orange juice.
Okay.
No one cares about
I mean,
OCE.
that
That
An
was a little
orange
bit.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know where you went there.
Orange juice.
Yeah. What's the upper limit of pulp? Like at some point you're like
Okay,
you're not drinking
so-
orange, you're drinking orange, right?
That's
I
what
will
you
mute
want.
this really quickly.
You need that
I'll
much
watch it
orange.
live,
Well,
of
that's-
course,
that's
but
maybe what the juicers need here if they
this is the bracket for North America. This is obviously going on right now. I'll be watching it live with you guys. So we had T1 Gang versus T3. T1 Gang knockout T3 2-0. So T3 are out for this tournament. So you got T1 Gang. Revelation versus Unique Coaching. Unique Coaching is actually Lutano's team. So Lutano's team is in the losers bracket, but they're still in it to win it. Luminosity Gaming just faced Denial. Denial lost 2-0. Spoilers, I'm sorry if you didn't watch the matches, but it wasn't really much of a series anyways. They just got absolutely stomped and skill diffed. So it's going to be Denial versus T1 Gang in the losers bracket after Orange Juicers and version 1. And the loser of Orange Juicers versus version 1 will face off against Unique Coaching in the losers bracket. And then, of course, the winner of Orange Juicers and version 1 will face Luminosity in the winners finals. That's not really surprising, let's be real. You know, it's highly probable that you're probably going to see an Orange Juicers versus Luminosity Gaming Grand Finals, possibly, depending on how people are playing. But yeah, that's pretty much the bracket, guys. I'll keep this open in a different tab, so if anyone asks, yeah, I'm more than welcome to open it up for later. But that's pretty much what we're looking at today.
It's an understatement, right? I mean, Orange Juicers, they have been one of the most successful teams that we've had for quite a while now. I mean, winning the regional finals last year, and we can see this draft.
All right, so we got
Start off relatively
Orange
normal.
Juicers
One thing,
first
of course, that we
pick
do
and version
know
1
about is
second
that
pick,
much
but they
of the
get 2
Juicers
picks.
uh,
Lissy was first banned on the side of Orange Juicers. Sableye was a target ban against Roland. Roland is one of the few people that is actively playing Sableye support. Very annoying Pokemon. Inteleon ban, and I believe that's the first Inteleon ban that we've seen in compared to EU. So, slight differences there. And difference in priority as well. So we got one target ban as well as an Inteleon ban. Zacian ban is common. Psyduck first pick, Gyarados and Snorlax were the 2 picks on version 1. We got a Suicune and Talonflame. Mewtwo, Y, and Hoopa. And then Buzzwole and Lapras. And then rounding out the side of version 1, we got a Glaceon pick. Another unique pick, by the way, guys. So we already got 4 unique picks in North America meta. So you can already see there's huge differences in between EU and NA. I believe Glaceon was not picked at all yesterday during EU regionals, as far as I'm aware. At least based on the games that I've seen. It wasn't picked in the grand finals. It wasn't picked in any of the matches that I've seen. And I was watching up until losers semis or losers finals. So
just to go and counter the amount of special attack that version 1 have. They obviously have that Mewtwo White along with that Glaceon, which can do.
how's it going, Love for Money? Welcome to the stream.
And Hoopa, if we're being 100% honest. We just got to see the quad KO streak from OC for Hoopa, and definitely, especially once it uses that Unite and becomes unbound, the damage can be pretty ridiculous, if I'm being 100% honest. So I do like the Assault Vest. A-Vest is one of my favorite
Also, for those of you guys, happy Mother's Day to everyone that's celebrating, and of course my condolences to anyone that is not celebrating for whatever reason, but I hope regardless you guys have a fantastic Sunday. I'm here watching the games with you guys, but of course I'll be stepping away every now and then, just because I'm getting some Mother's Day stuff ready. Well, I'm ordering food, so I might be like running in and out.
I mean, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot. I think the bigger question
Yeehaw!
is to see the really,
Look at the hats,
really
guys.
late
Cowboy hats in the
ceiling
building.
Pokemon get the EXP share, because that's what we've been seeing. Urshifu and Decidueye, and I don't know what's happening anymore with the meta, but we're going to get a chance to see how this one plays out. We're going to our next Worlds qualifying game. Orange Juicers on the left versus version 1 on the right. And this is an exciting match. We were talking about the teams a little bit. Version 1, really successful in a lot of grassroots tournaments, and this would be an amazing storyline for them to break through and qualify for Worlds.
Yeah, that would be an incredible story to tell, but the story is still yet to be written. But up in the top path, we do have Psyduck and Buzzwole.
There's
On
your
the
cowboy
side
hat. I don't have a
of
cowboy hat. I'm not
Magic
cool like these
Carp and
guys.
Cooper, they have taken a bit of a beating, but looks like they're just going to focus on getting their own Bunnelbys here.
Yeah, this is going to be most.
So I was actually watching very briefly. Like I opened it for like 1 minute. Something that's different from the Asian broadcast and like NA and EU, it's like a production thing. They actually have the battle items that everyone is using on the right beside like the character portraits. So just as an example, if you don't, for whatever reason, you don't get what I mean. So you see where the character portraits are, like right here?
Yeah,
Like
but
right
not
beside,
too far
they
off.
have the battle item of all the characters, like right beside all the portraits, which is actually a nice little addition to the the production thing. You don't actually get to see when they go on cooldown, but it is still like a little nice touch.
Okay, it's gonna evolve. I was gonna say there's a
What I would
chance
hope to
that
see
tier one
is like when,
Magikarp
let's say for example,
Magikarp is at while it's still a Magikarp, and I feel like
someone is using a eject button, like let's pretend, hey, Glaceon's using a eject button. Like when it's used, I would like to see the cooldown like go off, and I would see like a timer in that box instead of just a static picture. But anyways, going back to the game over here, we got a rumble in the jungle. We got a 5 versus 2. Orange juicers are just a little out of sorts. Version 1 trying to death ball them in the middle of the jungle.
Just going to run now and go get whatever wild Pokemon experience is available on their side.
Okay, 3-man rotation on the side of version 1, trying to pick out the Lapras. Dugrug potentially going to get caught out here. And that is an Icy Wind Glaceon instead of the
That far up in the
Icicle
air.
Spear.
Top
So you got a lot more mobility, a lot more upfront burst.
This tier 1 pad, Buzzwole, able to get in 11 points. So leaving it on 6, but 3v2, they are outnumbered. And the hyperspace hole doesn't actually hit the pad, so they're not able to bring up any backup.
Ooh, that was probably, I have to guess that was an auto-targeting error, right? Where it went on top of maybe like OG and instead of actually getting on top of the goal zone, which is really unfortunate because they could really use that support. They are going to use it back on that tier 2, but obviously would have liked that a little bit earlier. And they are going to be able to rotate down at least for this first objective. The Regirock already getting burned down, but Regieleki going up to Orange Juicers very quickly.
Oh, but look at how low 3 of these members from version 1 are. They are going to get a reset through that hyperspace hole. Regirock already below half HP as Snorlax is just going to take a quick snooze here.
Ooh, Regirock getting very low, but the secure options are pretty weak, and it is going to go to the Mewtwo.
Alright, so version 1 getting the Regirock. Keep in mind that Orange Juicers traded bottom for top lane, so it's not like that. It's not like they're just mindlessly giving away free objectives. You can see the score differential between trading for top and bottom. 184 to 28 points, so that's a big point difference at least going into the first objective. Glaceon not going attack speed makes sense now.
No, I believe they ended up hitting the Gyarados and pushing him into that.
Ooh, Buzzwole tried to go for the cheeky play against Glaceon, but they were able to evade the smackdown.
It is a low cooldown timer.
I don't think I've seen any Buzzwoles actually go Leech Life, despite the unstoppable buff that it got.
And the other 5 out of the last 10% probably just hits nothing.
I was hoping to see that at least once.
My experience using Talonflame, but we've seen some great ones. We've seen some amazing ones. Gatlu hit.
I also gotta say, although Raichu is available in the UCS, as in like people can play it if they want to, assuming it's not banned, I have not been impressed with the Raichu gameplay. Like, I don't know if it just is bad. Like, it looked okay in solo queue, but keep in mind, solo queue and competitive gameplay are 2 different environments. Like, Raichu has looked absolute. It might sound a little toxic, but like from what I've seen, it's looked pretty garbage. It feels like it's had almost no impact in some of the matches that I've seen. And then like the few matches where it looked okay, it's not even like Raichu's making the big difference. It's just more so the team collectively that has the Raichu on it is like putting in the work to make it seem okay. But on an individual level, like Raichu has not looked. Nice Braver from Talonflame, getting a lot of burst damage on multiple targets. They go in, get the kill on the Hoopa, they trade. Mewtwo Y pops their Unite move, landing onto 2 people. Buzzwole in between.
That is just certainly not happening.
No, it's not happening as Buzzwole is trying to leash some life away from
Nice.
Raichu.
Oh, there's the leash life.
In the air, slamming him down once again.
Nice.
In all the meantime, we actually
Yeah, in a straight up 1v1 against Buzzwole and Leech Life, it's very oppressive. Just because you get CC'd, and on top of that, they have so much sustain off that skill. It's either you avoid the combo, or you have the damage to kind of melt through the sustain that it's getting from that skill.
But now everybody's back from Orange Juicers, and we have to see version 1 run away. They're getting eliminated one at a time to go back through the hyperspace hole. That's actually gigantic. They should be able
In
to
a lot of the
find
games that have been played across EU and North America so far, the main top lane picks that we've seen are Zacian and Gyarados. Blaziken seems to have fallen off a bit in terms of pick rate. In terms of like the Pokemon itself, it hasn't changed all that much. But yeah, Zacian and Gyarados have kind of
yeah, this is a gonna be a very long 3 minutes, I think, for version 1. But again,
shown their dominance in terms of just overall preference based on the games that we've seen on stream. I can't comment on what I haven't seen, so of course, the game's off stream. I have no idea what's been played, but oh, nice Brave Bird.
Kratos jumping in, huge flame sweep, only catches 2, although it did kind of land on 3 people. That's going to be another KO, 3 KOs, version 1 falling down to the, probably about to be their last member, if I'm being honest. That is what's going to happen.
Yeah, the problem with version 1 right now is the fact that because they lost their top 2, their tier 1 and tier 2 gold, they have nothing to fall back to. So as long as Orange Juicers are collectively grouped together, it's basically their jungle. What's up, Shane? How you doing? I'm doing good, my friend. Welcome to the YouTube stream. Hopefully you're doing well.
I love that OG just literally went and sat in that top tall grass and is just like, yeah, I'm just standing here for 30 more seconds. And they're still, okay, they finally moved over. Roland gonna catch...
On the side of version 1, they have the issue of being kind of under level, especially Gyarados. Gyarados is level 11 going into Rayquaza. And as the top laner, and of course is one of the main threats of your team, you obviously want the experience flowing into you. Hoopa goes down to the initial burst of Talonflame, but Psyduck secures the kill. Talonflame goes down, they trade 1 for 1. Gyarados going back in. Gyarados goes down, pops their Unite move onto the Snorlax. So overall, a 3 for 2.
And there's, I think, a pretty good chance, especially with 2 members going down, that Orange Juice is not going to try to, like, burn down Rayquaza or anything.
Keep in mind, Hoopa still has their Unite move, so they might... Oh, they're going for the play right now.
Version 1.
No, there's still a minute and 20 seconds left, and here come the Rings Unbound, and they are trying to rip this Rayquaza, but there's still members of OJ left trying to get into the pit. Talonflame ends
They tried to flip it, and it didn't work. I see a reoccurring theme here with a lot of these games. When all is lost, they try to go for the rip. Here's the thing. It's not wrong. That line of thinking is not wrong. It's just that if that's your only strategy, if that is like the only card in the hand that you have to play, then it's obvious that it's just a skill diff thing. Whether it's a strategy or skill diff or even execution, it's just a major dip between the teams. Like 629 to 28. Of course, that's with the Rayquaza shields and scoring now, but they've had 28 points since the beginning of the game, and version 1 really didn't make any proactive plays. Like, they were always getting engaged on, they were always getting out-rotated, and then they tried to teamfight at the end, but keep in mind that going into Rayquaza, they're just heavily underleveled, so it's just going to be an uphill battle for them.
The fact that they were so strong gave them the ability to really hold on a long time in a lot of situations, multiple situations, because honestly, even that first fight didn't go all that well.
But yeah, that's game number 1, guys. And of course, I'll try my very best to time the ads when they're just talking outside the game, so that way when you guys are watching, it doesn't interrupt. So I'm gonna play the ads right now. You're not missing on much. The game is already over, and then hopefully by the time the ads are over, they're getting into the next game.
Here from OJ here that we are going to recap. I mean, gotta say, in terms of version 1, their composition worked out well. This Snorlax, I mean, they have a right to be smug here because they actually had some pretty incredible power naps. At the end there, they actually managed to knock up 4 members of OJ.
Yeah, I mean, Snorlax, there's a reason why we saw it with 100% counter rate yesterday, as far as I know. I don't know that stat for sure, but it's basically 100%. And I'm really surprised Orange Juice didn't actually pick it back earlier. They were just prioritizing other things, but there's a good reason why it's been so picked, and we can see it right there. But the play was good. Honestly, the play was quite strong from version 1 across the board. They were just, unfortunately, behind by quite a bit from the start, and Orange Juice is one of those teams that's so good at keeping you playing from the back foot, is what I would say. We got a chance to see the secure right there from our player of the game, Kratos.
Yeah, on the Talonflame there, they have 81k damage dealt. Rocky the double stacking items there, so the attack weight through.
Oh,
bounce,
shoot.
But then you also have that drive lens.
I bought Twitch Turbo after you explained things, and holy, way better. Yeah, guys, if you guys have disposable income,
Color wrong again, didn't I?
They're
pink and red, they're too
like, or just like you have the income to kind of splurge on things, if you watch a lot of Twitch, I highly recommend Twitch Turbo. Basically, it's a monthly subscription, and I'm not sponsored by Twitch. I'm not saying this for Twitch's benefit. I'm saying it for like the viewer experience benefit. Basically, Twitch Turbo, you pay a monthly subscription fee, and no Twitch ads across any channel for the entire month, or however long you have it. And as much as I would like you to support creators, it's much more cost efficient to get Twitch Turbo than to pay for one sub for one channel. Like, I would rather you get Twitch Turbo for yourself than spend, like, get one sub for me. Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, of course they would benefit me, but realistically, Twitch Turbo will benefit you much more. You'll save a lot more money in the long run, and you'll enjoy your experience on Twitch that much more. Like, that's why, if I have to, if I was being objective and I wanted to, make sure that you benefit the most, if you have to choose between subbing to me and Twitch Turbo, get Twitch Turbo. Like, anyone that says otherwise, like, they're lying to you, straight up.
Have to find an answer because Orange Juice are now 1 game away from qualifying from Worlds.
Well, what is the answer here? Do they want to go in for another Sableye ban, or do they want to target something that is a little bit more...
I'm gonna be honest, unless it's like,
a Talonflame ban.
Talonflame is...
Unless they have AC in that building running on like full blast, I can't imagine casting in an actual full suit or...
and it's super successful, but also it's been one of the least banned overall. We have seen some bans for it.
It varies. I think this Gyarados was running Rocky Helmet, Acel Bracer, and Focus Band, if I'm not mistaken. It's been it varies from player. Like, it hasn't been like the core items have been Rocky Helmet and Acel Bracer. The third item varies from player to player. But Focus Band is like the safe choice as well, I guess.
It's that spot where people don't really want to do as much.
Well, I mean, considering the draft that we ended up having last match as well,
Alright, give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I just need to make sure my mom knows what she wants in her order, because I gotta order food for Mother's Day, so just give me 1 minute, I'll be right back.
A Metagross, that way you're not going to get shredded on down by a Talonflame as much, because you know, you have that bulk, you're more in that front line, whereas Talonflame, it counters Glaceon so well.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we didn't end up seeing, like, Fly. Fly would have been amazing in that situation, but honestly, it's just so good in so many different ways. I do feel like there have been some attempts to try and counter Talonflame. I know we saw the Wigglytuff with Sing, and that was a really cool concept where it's like, okay, if you dive on us, then I'm just going to Sing, and before you can get out, you're going to sleep, and you're not very, you're kind of squishy. It'll outlast the damage reduction from Brave Bird, maybe, and it didn't actually work out in that game. Like, we saw it work out a few times, but unfortunately in the final fight, they were all split up, so I would love to see something like that again. The Metagross, I think, is a great call. Metagross in general, I think, is a great spot right now in the current meta. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Honestly, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I kind of feel like I'd like to see maybe some Meowscarada to able to like bait out. Okay, Zoinks off screen just went yes.
Well, we saw it at the top of the win rate there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the key. Speedster into Speedster. Yeah, but I guess, you know, there's so many options. We have such a vast roster in Unite. You really could pick up multiple options, but okay, we're actually going to look at top Pokemon by win rate here. Greninja, is this the NA or EU? I feel like this is different from the one we saw earlier in the broadcast.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is the current one for today, but we did get a chance to see some really strong Greninja play, so we can talk about that. And honestly, there are some great Greninja players in North America. I feel like there were some that we've seen play Greninja back when I guess you could say, yeah, I mean, it was at first meta viable, and it's been out of the meta for a very long time, but I like
new items.
the new items are big.
Okay.
People also realizing that maybe the playstyle is slightly different. I know Spraggles was talking
Sorry,
about
I was just doing some stuff for Mother's Day really quickly.
Surface that people want to pick,
I am back.
because it is a
I
lot
was
of
just
fun to
ordering,
go around and
well,
just get resets,
getting the order
and
down so
you're
I don't mess up.
just running over your entire team, and you know, I'm a top
The
player,
bracket, so I don't have a
you know,
command
play
for it,
Zoro,
but you can see the bracket right here.
a lot of
So right now,
we see
we are currently Orange Juices versus version 1, Luminosity versus Denial is already over. And then we haven't done any of the losers bracket just yet. So I'll keep the tab open, of course. So yeah, I'll keep the tab open for anyone that's curious about the bracket, but I don't have like an actual command for it just because
Well, whether we're actually end up seeing
I only just saw it not that long ago.
I don't know about that. I guess it depends on their play style, but I mean, as I said, we know a lot about Orange Juices here. So they have a wide Pokemon pool that they can choose from, but
And wild.
Okay, so once again, target ban against Roland. We got the Sableye ban. That's specifically for Roland, by the way. No one else is playing Sableye in this in the UCS circuit from what I know of. Revelation lost. Yeah, they lost against Lutano's team. So I think on that team it's... I don't remember their team. I just remember I think it's Vin Diesel and Lutano. And then I know the other people are veterans of the UCS as well. It's just I don't remember who's on it specifically.
The case was for example, Luminosity in our previous set. But starting off with the Inteleon, that's always going to be solid.
Yeah, a solid pick there for a Leaker.
Yeah.
But that does mean OG is going.
Yeah, you need coaching as Lutano's team.
Ever so beloved Zacian.
The dogs, both the dogs, right?
Yeah. Oh, cat. Dog.
I'm just gonna keep pushing that. All right, so I do have to say, Talonflame Hoopa, great second, third pick. I do have to say though, giving up the Suicune to Flareon seems like a very, very dangerous choice. Suicune currently one of the most banned Pokemon in the entire game across pretty much almost every region, and Flareon's always known as one of the best attacker players in, honestly, the world, just incredibly strong. We got to see him do so much in that last game, so giving it back to him, I'm surprised, especially Inteleon's great, but I mean,
Version 1 is a new team, so they've actually added something that's actually pretty nifty, I guess. When the game actually starts, so when you see the players in the actual match, there's a stat right beside their team name that shows how many championship points they have. Like, well, not how much they have, what their rank is in the actual circuit. So you can tell if they're a relatively new team or a veteran, seasoned, consistent team by their championship point ranking. So if they're number 1, for example, that means they're the highest placed team in the respective region in terms of championship points. If they're like ranked like 1,000, then that means that they're probably a new team.
No, I'm talking about Orange Juicers.
Oh, Orange
Yeah, they've got four legs,
okay.
four legs, kinda.
I see what
four
you
legs.
mean.
Yeah.
Flippers. Lapras
Yeah.
has flippers.
They're kind of legs. I don't know. We're getting laughed at in the studio. I don't like this at all. We do actually have quite a lot of legs on the other side as well. But actually talking about the match, yeah, the Glaceon, this time around, I do feel like the
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that go...
a lot of really bulky targets that it's going to be able to do a lot of damage to over time.
Like, there's a lot of teams in the community that go unnoticed because most of the time, you don't see them on the live broadcast. But it's not... These guys aren't new players. I can vouch for that.
Yeah,
It's just that they kind of get overshadowed by the fact that there's so many other teams that are consistently, like, when you have so many teams that are like consistently top 4, you kind of just forget about the rest of the other teams. And it's not their fault, it's just, you know, other, like, you take notice of the teams that are constantly winning type of
We were
thing.
talking about this yesterday, but I really like the combination of Fly and Hyperspace Hole or Trick and Bravebird. So we'll see. Well, if it's any combination of those, honestly, it's going to be good. But which one it actually is now Orange Juicers only need one.
Oh, so you can see right here, by the way. I'll hide my camera very briefly. So you see where Orange Juicers is and version 1 is. You see CP rank. Version 1 is ranked 15 overall, and Orange Juicers is ranked number 2. So they're the second highest team in terms of championship points. So 15 is actually not bad, but it also depends on how much points the other teams have.
So I wonder if there's a chance that we're going to see them switch a little bit later on. That was a strategy that was super popular for a while.
I don't know the current standings for championship points in terms of how many points people actually have, but yeah, Luminosity is already guaranteed to go to Worlds. So even if they like, hypothetically, even if Luminosity lost this and the next tournament, they're still going to Worlds. So they're just doing this for the practice and the prize money, and whatever money they get, it's just an added bonus to their travel funds.
Whereas OJ have decided to send that 3 down.
How's it going, Don?
But even then, version 1, despite having the numbers advantage, they weren't able to go and push them and get any points in.
Ooh, this is super aggressive. Orange Juicers once again trying to go in that center area, but maybe a little bit too aggressive. Kratos going down and actually giving that evolution. That is not the Pokemon I think that you want to give some extra EXP to. So high level of aggression. It worked out really well in game number 1, but version 1, they're playing a little bit safer. They're ready for it this time and definitely rewarded for being ready.
You invade me, I can invade you too, but it looks like Scarf is going to give up that red buff. Does end up getting cut off by OJ and taken on down, so a little bit of revenge previously. Otherwise, Birds are going to get ignored. They're going to go in for a team fight instead.
Ooh, this is a lot of members being very aggressive, and once again, Kratos going down, Roland going down.
Okay,
too.
so Glaceon actually changed their moveset, so they went from Icicle Spear to, they went from Icy Wind to Icicle Spear this game, so that's an adjustment right there, or adaptation.
Definitely still towards Orange Juicers, but, I mean, look at this, the levels, they're starting to add up, and the stacks certainly are.
Yeah, we already have 2 level 7s on either side here, and the benefit for
What kind of food am I getting? I'm getting Swiss Chalet.
They have charged up their
There's lots of options, but I let my mom choose, of course.
From OJ, but they aren't actually going to get taken down, focusing on those birds instead.
Now we're just going to separate a little bit before the first objectives. I'm interested to see who's going to prioritize what. Of course, having
there's options. There's like, you know, Greek food, Chinese food, Portuguese food. There's junk food like pizza, KFC, whatever. I let my mom decide. Like basically anything I can order mobile. Downflame goes down to Suicune. Nice snipe shot, but Glaceon actually gets the kill secure on the Eldegoss. Another snipe shot secure.
I feel like version 1 really has found their footing at the start of this game.
Yeah, that is such a great combination.
Okay. So we have some macro differences as well. So as you can see in the top lane, version 1 decided to play for the top lane instead of the bottom lane. So they're playing for the Regieleki, and then Orange Juicers actually played for the bottom lane this time. Although not to the same effect. Despite version 1 getting the Regieleki, they weren't able to execute properly, and they're still falling behind. That being said, in comparison to game number 1, at the very least, it looks like they're they're alive. They're trying to make proactive plays instead of just slowly losing the game. But right now, Orange Juicers are kind of putting their foot on the gas and kind of running away with this game. 167 to 15, so version 1 have scored even less points than game number 1, but they have gotten more kills so far. And keep in mind, despite the fact that it is a big score gap, as long as it doesn't get too out of hand, Rayquaza in theory can
draft, but
save the
honestly,
game.
It's such a good
So the
pick.
game is not
It's
over
really
by any
good
means.
to
It's
start
just
that off.
an uphill battle is all.
Need to find one target, which so far, oh, they do manage to find Zugrug, and there is a little bit of a counter here. Smuglax now getting jumped on by Kratos is gonna go down.
No.
Oh, wait, yeah, okay, hold on, yeah, maybe. I
Yeah,
should-
I'm not exactly sure what Piloswine is doing, if I'm being completely honest. Like, they're trying to 1v1 Zug.
Defend this bottom pad as the push is up towards the top. Flame Sweep isolating that Eldegoss, but they're going to take to the skies, land on down, looking to take out Liko, and they were successful.
That was a really, really nice flame sweep once again. Like I said, we're seeing so much mileage out of that Unite move. Oh, Riker just barely getting clipped, and that's going to be them frozen. That's probably going to be them going
Yeah.
down. Again,
The thing is, Hoopa and Piloswine weren't there. It looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication going on the side of version 1. Like, half the team is top lane, you're trying to, like, push a 3v2 on the pad, and then the other half of the team is just bottom lane doing not exactly sure what. And then with the Lapras Unite move, Orange Juices were able to collapse on the top lane and pick up, what, 2 kills? So, yeah, some questionable plays on the side of version 1, to say the least.
Contested so far today, which is
There's the Hoopa Unite.
I think is what I'm going to say. Oh, Zarog just walking back into an unbound Hoopa, saying, "Wait a minute, what is this? Why am I back here? What is going on?" Regieleki though being soloed, also, well, not necessarily soloed, but uncontestedly taken.
Okay, nice play using the Hoopa portal to score and close the gap between the two teams. They just gotta make sure this Regieleki doesn't go in. Orange Juices might be going for a 5-man push here. Oh, Regieleki just walked in. Oh no.
Crashing on in along with all of that Aeos energy. A great flame sweep coming out from that Talonflame, but it looks like OJ are looking to try and escape. No, they're looking for more KOs. 2 KOs.
I can't believe that Regieleki went in. I actually don't know why it did. That felt weird. Nobody went down before that happened, but I think we just saw a triple KO streak right there. So Orange Juicers getting a lot out of that exchange. Most KOs. They got the entire goal zone down. Next Regieleki. Well, actually, I don't think there's going to be another Regieleki, but the home goal zone is going to be completely open, and this is looking pretty good for them, honestly. It was
The thing is, as well, is like,
but they really grabbed
they do have a frontliner, of course, Mamoswine, but the thing is, Absol is so fed right now, on top of the fact that he's getting on top of the backline so quickly and does so much damage that they don't, like, Inteleon, Glaceon don't have the opportunity to output their damage because they're too busy running away from the Absol that's diving them. And if they get too close, they're just going to get CC'd by Lapras and Suicune.
This is just going to be, I think, a patient
It's very possible that they might go for a rip, but the game is still close enough to the point where they don't necessarily need to do that. Like, they're down by a little over 100 points, but the game is not over yet.
Safe rotate around. That's a beautiful macro decision. Orange Juice is making sure that there's no surprises that they can't deal with. But the fight is just going to start. Okay, it was going to start very quickly. We do see the Talonflame go back with the Hoopa trick, and now
Oh! Suicune was not ready for the burst on that one.
Smuglax, there's only going to be a little bit of damage to a defender. Wailord getting very, very low, but the Hoopa Unbound has already done what it needed to do. Riker getting very low as well. Manages to get back. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get through any sort of portal or anything. Smuglax will go down next, and Roland just barely escaping. Kratos at 1 HP.
Oh! The Absol got away. Maybe. Oh, never mind.
The aggressive Hoopa taking him down.
That's a 28-second death timer on the Absol.
Phantom Force to go and gap that distance, but well, OJ, they still
The crazy thing is, though, there is no healing on the side of version 1. Any damage they take, they have to fend for themselves because Hoopa's trick.
They have to be careful of the secure that we have on version 1, both the Talonflame and the
Absol's coming up in 3 seconds. They gotta do something here. But look at the CC, so you can just pop their Unite move. Glaceon's dead. Inteleon's getting play roughed and ulted by OG in the backline.
has completely melted for the side of version 1. All a little bit too close together for that Suicune damage.
Oh, it's Jover,
Will,
boys.
the one who's
It's
able to chase
Jover.
down the
It's
last
cooked.
last time. Now is the
This,
last.
they,
They're
like,
actually
North
able to
America
play
might be going for the UCS regional speed run. 2 zeros, 2 zeros. Might be going for 2 zeros in the losers bracket as well.
Yeah, 25 seconds left to
Like,
go.
these are quick
Tremendous
games.
Still knocked on out here. That does mean we are going to have our second placement. They're joining Luminosity Gaming. Orange Juice as well. Their version is looking pretty good today.
This is, I don't know, how much pulp? What's the pulp percentage, chat?
90%?
90? That's a lot of pulp. That's a lot of pulp. No, congratulations to Orange Juicers. That does mean now our first and second seed from North America have qualified for Worlds. Of course, our first seed from North America qualified
There you
for
go.
Worlds months ago. And our
Orange
second
Juicers
and
have
third seed
qualified
from
for
Europe
Worlds, so now you got
qualified as
2
well. So
teams
everybody's
from
playing
EU and
for
North
how well they
America.
did in this season. But we
Nouns
will, of course,
Esports
talk,
and I
of
believe
course,
Gen
North America
5
stuff
from
coming up.
EU is going
Congratulations
to
Orange
Worlds.
Juicers. I think version 1
From
went very
EU,
well.
and then from North America, you got Luminosity Gaming in first seed and second seed Orange Juicers. There's still one more team to be determined, but I don't think that'll be today. That will be for NAIC. After that, you'll know indefinitely who's going and who's done for the competitive season.
To be able to break those goals so earlier on in the match and just dominate the field.
Yeah, that's really been a playstyle that I feel like we haven't seen over the last weekend or the last 2 days, last day and a half, whatever it has been, where we haven't seen super aggression. There's only been 1 invade, I think, in Europe, maybe 2 invades in Europe. There were almost no invades here in North America so far, but we got a chance to see Orange Juicers basically live in the enemy central area. They were able to get so much EXP from the enemy. They were able to take down so many different goal zones. The fact that they had the tier 1 and tier 2 goal zones both down on the top path in both games, that is just a ridiculous amount of aggression, especially considering the fact that we saw Sableye banned out, which would have been even better at that playstyle.
Yeah, going and dunking in that home base potentially, but yeah, this was the fight, the final stretch. We obviously had Glaceon taken on down. They did come back up, but I think Orange Juicers, knowing they had the lead here, they didn't need to start that Rayquaza. All they had to do was just waste time and defend.
Right, I mean, having that lead was gigantic, and we can see the player of the game, OG, and OG was the one who secured that final Rayquaza, as well as being the one to stand in the tall grass for 30 seconds straight up in that first game. I loved that. On the Zacian this time, though, of course, it was the Buzzwole in the first game. Zacian, another Pokemon that has had, I believe, well, no, actually, I was going to say no bans, but there was very specific Gen 5 bans yesterday. But it's been relatively unbanned throughout the current meta, and it is so important. Secure seems to be a really important tool. Zacian has that very strongly.
I mean, considering how much we have seen OG play Zacian throughout the season, I mean, I feel like that is a potential for another respect ban there, but you only get 2 bans per match. Yeah. So it is really tricky one there. But otherwise, they played such an incredible set. 2-0 up against version 1, which means they are now in that winners finals. They are qualified for Worlds. It's just a matter of whether they can take down one of the other big titans of
I mean, that must be pretty relieving in a way.
That we've somehow been avoiding for the last few months. So
like the main goal, if you're a competitive team, depending on your, I guess, competitive mentality, the end goal is Worlds, and like the highest achievement you can get as a Pokemon Unite team is winning Worlds. Getting there is the first step. Trying to win is obviously step 2, in the grand scheme of things. So securing your spot earlier, well, like, not necessarily early, but securing your spot with still one more major tournament to go, it must be pretty relieving, because the outcome over there won't determine, like, it won't change anything.
Thank you. Yeah, big 2-0 win. And I wanted to get a little bit more insight on the draft and how the team felt overall through those 2 games. They seemed very content. They feel like their Pokemon pool was deep. They got access to a lot of the Pokemon they wanted. Felt like they were doing a decent job cutting the opposing squad off from what they were trying to do, and really always maintaining an edge. So that's their plan to keep operating through the rest of the day. Back to you in the booth.
that was so bizarrely normal. I was ready for him to say anything, and I was not ready for him to just like say normal things. That was the one curveball he could have thrown.
Maybe that's the weird thing about that part is, well, it was so normal that it was weird.
Yeah, certainly. Maybe he's trying to get on everybody's good graces so that we lit him out of the giant wall.
Yeah, he needs to stretch his legs for a bit, potentially. You know, being in the giant wall is tough.
Yeah. So that's actually the way we have it built. Is he's actually like below ground, and that's why his head is up at the top of the wall. Is there's this giant pit behind the wall? It's actually clear. There's no screen back there, so we just kind of open it up for him, and he kind of like sits up, and he's like, "Oh, it's time for the reporter," and he's holding his gigantic microphone that's only tiny to him because he's, I don't know, what, 40 feet tall?
40 feet tall. That is really huge, but you know what? That was an incredible set. We already have our 2 world's qualified teams for North America. I think we are going to send it to a break and bring in our other casters up next. So sit tight, folks.
Three parts, third part, trilogy.
Okay, so we got NA's number 1 versus NA's number 2 in the winners finals. There's still whoever wins the series will move on to the grand finals through the winner side. Whoever loses will go on to the losers finals. That being said, their journey will not be over. There's still a chance that these 2 teams can meet in the grand finals. So we're gonna see these teams play next, and then let me refer back to the bracket. So it's gonna be Denial versus T1 Gang, and then You Need Coaching versus Version 1. And then the winner of those 2 teams will compete, and then the winner of that series will face off against the loser of Luminosity and Orange Juicers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more sets to go.
We're gonna go to the.
Potentially 7 if there's a bracket reset, I
You
believe.
don't even need a cracker.
But-
You don't need bread. And if you did need bread, they didn't give me any. So. Oh! So this is production actually forcing me to do this because we're running low on time.
Yeah.
And it's getting later in the
Stuff wrong
day,
with
so
schedule.
traffic is picking up.
Oh man.
Well, that's a lot of cheese. As it turns out. I'm gonna rate them as a unit. Because production forced me to have all of those together. Thanks, production. Thank you.
You're not gonna. That's not bad. That's not bad actually.
This is great.
This is great. Yes. Goiabada.
It's like a fruit snack if it didn't have a bunch of artificial stuff in it. Awesome. And what are these again?
So it's a different style of the cheese bread, the pão de queijo.
Damn.
I don't know
So we
what's
have
the
like
difference.
2 different styles.
Yeah, this one we have at our.
Bro, Repairman, what did Dupe Snacks do to you, man?
Yeah, I think this one's like a.
Did he
mint
break your heart?
one.
Was he not your Valentine this year?
Fiber unlock.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just the absolute catastrophe that my stomach's gonna be later. Can't wait. Okay. And this is a more classic cheese
Yes.
bread here.
I did try to
A little
hit
bit of
a few
paper. Don't not recommend it at home. This
No,
is how
yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You can eat it however you want.
extra bit of flavor.
And even a hair of peanut butter.
I need you over there casting, homie. I'll make a call so you'll be there for Worlds.
But Soph did heat that up for me, and if it was warm,
Bro.
I can only imagine how much better it would be. All right.
I can't cast, man. I'm washed.
Is this actually a snack?
It's supposed to be with the
You know what's funny?
Look at the slice
Is
of
like-
the cheese and
What?
then go-
Well, not even funny. It's actually more okay.
No, bro.
No.
It's sad.
What is this?
It's sad that
I wanted to like try it.
the biggest advocate for Pokemon Unite, like despite him
Overall, this
being
tastes great. I had so
critical
much
of the
more
game,
stuff to say,
he's
but there
still
are
technically the biggest advocate for the game with the biggest
Okay.
like
stack of chips.
community. It's so unfortunate that Chris Heroes was never given another chance after
And
people
I love it.
reported him for that Twitch clip.
And it will be. Spoiler alert.
And he lost like every opportunity cast for
Okay.
competitive
We
Pokemon Unite.
Completely overpowered, honestly, by the 7 pounds of cheese and
It feels like
guacamole.
Valentine's Day was yesterday, not 3 months ago. Dude, the year is basically almost half
That
over.
was so
Almost.
disrespectfully served. Fine,
You need to represent us Canadians. Toronto, stand up.
8.5.
Nice.
8.5.
Bro,
I think you could just house a tree.
I'll always represent Canada, man.
Sausage nunchucks. This is 7. I mean, it's if you
Canada
like,
is who I am.
Like it's, if you like sausage, it's sure.
Okay, so do we have our reigning champions, Goiabada? Round of applause for Goiabada. And that was it for us next with Snacks. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. And speaking of tuning in, make sure to be here for LAIC on your screen here at the
Is there a
Maniacs Present
different
launch.
one?
And Pokemon Unite is going to have action up until what? When?
Championship Sunday. That's what it is. Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Team Snacks. That's just how we go.
Canada? Hell yeah, Canada, guys. Welcome to Canada. Gamers rise up. Slystorm, how's it going? Yeah, you guys gotta let me. I gotta check your Canada passports every time you guys come into the stream. All right. Oh, you're right, you're right. Come on over, man. Come on over. Your passport looks good. Guys, there's still a chance. You know what's crazy? I want this to happen, but at the same time, it would feel so scummy. Well, like, it's not even scummy. It's just like, it is what it is. It's just the way the tournament is outlined. So if you win NAIC, you will qualify for Worlds as the 3rd seed, if I'm not mistaken. I want a random team to form for NAIC, and I want them to win NAIC just so they get to the World spot. And it's kind of like I was talking about this like a while ago, but it's like, imagine some random ragtag group of friends just like showing up to NAIC, winning, and then they just completely crush the hopes and dreams of like the longtime veterans that have been competing the entire year. Like, that would be crazy. Get the squad together, bro. You're speaking into existence? Oh yeah, hell yeah, man.
And a welcome back, Pokemon Unite trainers and fans, to the Unite Championship Series North America Finals.
That's right.
It has been an incredible first couple of sets for the day. 2-0s across the board so far. But, I mean, Chef, that was pretty incredible. I think we also have a Telestrator segment ready for ya, but we're going to do that first, or we're going to do the interview?
I think we'll do a quick little illustration.
Okay.
There's just a fun couple of moments in that last series that we wanted to talk about. So if we can pull those up, we got some really interesting moments and a kind of some cool mechanical use of abilities to dodge other abilities. It's kind of what we were looking at. So both of these clips are from game number 1. If we want to take a look at specifically the Glaceon in this moment. So watch how this Talonflame Unite move triggers.
I need to send a message to my brother. Like, I'm just gonna mute. Like, if you see my lips move, if you see my lips moving, it's because I'm doing a voice message to my brother. So I'm not talking to you guys. I'm not muted unintentionally. It just, I don't want to hear you guys. Well, like, I don't want you guys to hear me while I'm talking to my brother.
So in this one, I I want you all to watch out for the Larions on the Suicune right about here. Some really cool tech in this matchup. Now, the never-ending Ice Spikes, that Unite move, is a really cool Unite move that gives you unstoppable for just a moment, allowing Flareons to dodge this great block play that was being made by Smuglax to try to kind of kidnap that Suicune, and instead able to get unstoppable for a moment, and then, of course, eject button to the other side of that block, really shutting down what otherwise could have been a great push by version 1, but a great counterplay by Orange Juicers, and we just saw a lot of really cool moments like that throughout the match. Little small mechanical moments that just showcase how these top players operate on the map.
And you talked about it, right? What a big catch that would have been had
Huge.
Suicune gone down right there. He just needed a moment of that crowd control being cleansed, eject button right the other way. Really strong play. And you can see it was just a moment, too, because that Psy Strike hits and he's knocked up. So it had to all happen in a split second.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Really, really fun. But I do believe we have an interview ready here with Roland from Orange Juicers. We're going to get to hear from one of those players. It's going to be very fun as they have now qualified for the World Championships.
Hey, congratulations, you've now qualified for Worlds. How does it feel?
It feels great, you know. I've been here multiple times, but every time I get here, it just feels like I really want to show what I can do and our team, how much we've grown.
Okay, so first I gotta ask, where's your cowboy hat? This is not acceptable.
I wasn't informed. No one told me about a cowboy hat.
You should have known. You should have known. That's
My
just not
bad.
acceptable. That's all right. You're not qualified for Worlds.
Dan's brother?
But-
Yeah, I have a
no,
twin.
I'm just kidding. I was kidding. Okay,
Except
so
he's
first I
like
gotta ask- first I gotta
2
ask,
feet
okay,
taller than me,
obviously y'all
maybe
had
3.
a not the best showing in the previous monthly cup, and then you had to go
Yeah.
from that immediately into the highest stakes tournament that you've had so far this season. How did you bounce back from that, and how did it feel morale-wise for the team?
We were really in the slums when that happened. You know, it doesn't feel great when you're considered one of the best teams in a region and you get out so early in the tournament. It really feels like
Can you imagine being 3 feet tall? Bro, that's like the size of like, that's like putting 3 of my shoes on top of each other.
You know, I think we're gonna really show it today.
Oh, my brother's calling me.
How do you gonna feel? Obviously, there's been some pretty big back and forth between your team and Luminosity over the course of the season, but it feels like it's been a while at this point. So, how's it feel going up against them after kind of a training arc for both teams?
You know, they're a long rival of ours, Luminosity Gaming. It's always nice to see them. Always nice to compete against them. I really feel like it can go either way. Really, we're both great teams, and you know, no matter what happens, I feel like it'll be a great showing.
All right, and then last thing, now that we know that you're qualified for Worlds, just real quick, any shout-outs to your fans that have been cheering you on this entire season? Any shout-outs to your teammates? Anything like that?
I want to shout out my mom. I love my mom. I want to shout out Chris Smith. Shout out Ducky. Yeah, that's it basically. And shout out Unk.
All right, all 3 people shouted out after qualifying for Worlds. I was kidding. Congratulations. I know you got to run into your next match. Good luck with that. We're all very excited to see it, and hopefully we get a chance to see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Great stuff, obviously. Congrats to the Juicers, one of the best teams in North America, possibly one of the best teams in the world. I mean, they made it to day 2 last year. Quite a squad, and they look fantastic here. They had a rough month, but a lot of teams can have a rough month. What a bounce back, though. They look incredible.
Yeah, flawless so far in the regional finals. They didn't drop a single map in the group stage, and now that their bracket stages began with a 2-0 win, they remain flawless. Now let's see if they can keep that up against Luminosity Gaming.
Well, that one is going to be a tough one considering their track record as well. But you know what? I believe that one's going to come up soon for you folks. So I guess, Chef, I do have to ask, in terms of orange juice, I mean, we're talking about pulp and no pulp, right? I said 90% earlier. How much percent do you think it's going to take to actually beat Luminosity Gaming here?
I think you either have to go basically no juice, or you have to go all juice, right?
Okay.
Like, I don't know if they're expecting all juice, no pulp, because they're going to try to catch on to the pulp, and there's going to be no pulp for them, and so they're going to be like, we just can't even control this team, and I don't know. I don't know where it's going with that. That's pretty much it. Yep.
I already love the
I need
premise of the
answers.
question. I think I have to ask this, Chef.
Yes.
Where are we
I
at?
have
We
to.
do
Because you
need to
asked
know.
me, you asked me, but I didn't get a chance to ask you.
That's fair.
I needed
That's
to know. It
true.
was bugging me. Okay,
True.
it's in my brain.
It's only fair, yeah. From what I understand, we do have an updated win graphic, by the way, that we wanted to show everyone at home for the North America region, if we can get that up on the board. So this is a little different than what we saw earlier. This is our updated win rate, and it says fixed up there. We fixed it, guys. We are
Sorry.
fixing things.
I was surprised. I wasn't expecting my brother to call me.
Yeah,
How tall am I? I am 5'8", like 5'7", 5'8". My brother is like 5'10", I think, or 11. I don't know.
Win rate for that Pokemon.
But he's taller than me.
Also doing very, very well despite a couple of losses in that last matchup. 83% for Gyarados.
You know, it's funny, Chef. I think you brought this up earlier with Gyarados being that high. Maybe
I'm short, guys. I'm average size.
First game of the day, we see a Gyarados fan like right off the bat. So
Me short?
It does look incredible.
I don't call
One of
people
those
short,
Pokemon,
all right?
It feels
Like
hard to
I
win,
like
and
there's
you know
average,
that
there's
you
tall,
wanna
and then
win
like
because
if you're
they're
below
so
average, I
strong
call you
Pokemon
fun
meta
size.
Right now, obviously, these two
You're a
teams
fun
like
size
have a very
person.
Deep pool of Pokemon between them. OJ, LG, what a matchup we have coming up. One thing that I would try to take away immediately is Flareon Suicune. That thing looked incredible.
Yeah, that feels like a must-ban at this point. That Pokemon is so incredibly good, and Zugrog able to flex onto that Lapras that they've been really enjoying as of late, so it's been a crazy lane to really compete against.
Oh, there is a family pack.
I did want to give an update to
Shit.
everybody. There
Okay,
are
hold
a
on,
few
wait.
matchups that are happening off broadcast, and due to Luminosity winning that last matchup, I do have pretty crazy implications when it comes to those world champions. So if you take a look at our losers bracket, it's version 1 versus T-Gang. That match has not began, but that is not the same story for Denial versus Unit Coaching. That match is going the distance. Those teams are tied 1-1. So whatever team makes it out of that matchup will be taking a world championship.
We got live update.
And there it is. It just happened before my start sheet.
Oh, live
Unit
update.
Coaching moving
Denial
on,
versus Uni
eliminating
Coaching.
Denial.
Lutano's team makes it to
Lutano,
loser
the
semis.
Corona World.
So it's gonna be either version 1 or T1 gang versus Lutano's team, and we'll see that on broadcast.
Right here.
I didn't realize those other teams were.
We have teams qualifying for Worlds right now here in NA.
Wow. It's actually really interesting. So obviously there are a lot of players on that team that have been to Worlds before, but technically there's a team that is their first time. And on the other side, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think nobody on.
All right, guys, let's do a prediction for this one. We're watching it live. Who do you guys think is gonna win, LG or OJ?
First ever Worlds qualification. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, a player that got a shout out in our
I'm betting, like, if I can't bet because I'm the channel owner, but if it were up to me, I would bet on LG. I don't even like LG, but statistically speaking,
we are headed into our winners finals to cover Luminosity Gaming and Orange Juicers. Thank you so
they're
much.
just like, you can't argue with the results, guys. It's that simple.
Let's take it away.
Yeah, here we go. LG versus Orange Juicers. You know, we've talked a lot about world slots being on the line, but of course, in front of all these teams is the
Damn.
America Regional Championships, and they want to win this whole
X
thing. They want their
Factor,
lion's share of that
bet big.
$50,000. They want to be the champion.
You can
for
get a
the
big
region.
payout
There
if
would
you
be
bet,
two
if you
better
put some money on
teams to
LG.
duke it out
Any
here in the
LG
winners'
believers?
finals than the two best in North America. LG looking like possibly one of the best in the world, and if anyone can take them down, it's the Orange Juicers, who have been on a run in this tournament.
Yeah, both these teams making my power rankings of top 10 global just on either sides of the list. So this will be a fun matchup between these squads. Luminosity Gaming, listening to your coaching, is going to be banning that Suicune against Orange Juicers Flareons.
I just think it's such a difficult Pokemon to deal with, and when you know a side is playing it very, very well, take it away from them. One Pokemon, however, that I would also love to take away from the Juicers is that Zacian. I feel like OG is so dang good on this Pokemon, and I don't know how deep the rest of his pool is. His Buzzwole looked pretty good earlier, but man, I would not want him on Zacian.
Yeah, and also Overlord showcasing that they're very comfortable playing that Pokemon like they were in their first matchup in the winners semifinals. So, potentially a choice for later in the draft, but for now it is Curios on the Alolan Raichu trainer on the Mimikyu. And there we go, we get a
Holy shit. Okay.
Sableye. Roland had this
Looks like you got LG believer.
games in their winners semifinals. final, now having the chance to bring it out in our winners finals.
I can tell our observers right now, keep an eye on this Sableye because it can make some really exciting plays in some crazy.
All right, on the side of Luminosity, Luminosity was first pick. We got Hoopa first pick. Oh, sorry, let's talk about the bands. Snorlax band from LG. Then we got Blissey band, Suicune band, followed by Psyduck band. Hoopa first pick, followed by Zacian and Lapras, Raichu and Mimikyu, Dodrio and Sableye. So they let Roland have the Sableye. Umbreon and Overlord on the Absol, at least, unless they swap. And then Flareon's with the Ninetales.
I just thought he was so on the money about that being the best.
So just a reminder, guys, these guys are in the winners finals. Whoever wins this moves on to the grand finals. Both these teams you're going to see at Worlds, by the way. So no matter what the result of this tournament or the next tournament, both these teams are going to Worlds unless for whatever reason they do something shady and get themselves disqualified.
But one through line always remains with that player is they are a very unselfish player.
Yes.
And I feel like the attacker role in Pokemon Unite, at least for the last year or so metagame-wise, has kind of been dependent on that. You need a player that's very consistent, always getting their levels and matching up. Now, Flareons, I could say the same thing about them, and picking yet another Pokemon that's very good at putting in the work, and it's going to be an Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, and their Alolan Ninetales look pretty incredible. You've got a couple Pokemon on the side of Luminosity that really want to dive in, right? You have Mimikyu and you have Absol. They need to be right next to you to do a lot of their damage. So I think Alolan Ninetales is a great call. If you get caught in a Blizzard Avalanche combo, it could be all over for you.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, they take away the Suicune, and instead of pivoting over to a Pokemon you might expect, like Inteleon, we have Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, a very strange tournament weekend for Inteleon overall. I mean, a Pokemon that was by far the top of the charts for that attacker role has just kind of slowly fell down and down to the point where EU is playing to.
Alright guys, I'm going to take a really quick restroom break. I'm going to keep it playing. I'll be back before first objective spawns.
Well, here we go, our winners finals. Luminosity Gaming, your purple team. Orange Juicers, your orange team. And there's that Sableye right away running across the map into the central area of LG.
We got the Sableye cam, everybody. Don't worry. Roland taking
He got it! And he got it.
First and foremost, what a call out from you, Spraggle.
I'm a genius that I knew one of the best Sableye players of all time was going to be one of the best Sableye players of all time.
Safe money, still money, and we know how much you love it, Jake.
Oh, please give me more. I just want it. I just want it. Why won't they give me more?
Well, that's what these teams want too. Essentially, at this point of the bracket, every single match win you can pick up, you are almost doubling your total prize money at this point in time. Getting into that grand finals gets you that much closer to the grand prize of $20,000 for our regional champion.
We got 9 minutes on the clock right here, so 10 seconds until we have the Altaria and Swablu spawn in the center between these two paths here. And we have Sableye looking to create some influence here in this fight, just waiting for their moment right here, not trying to get caught out by the enemy team until it's time to go in, catching the Absol, looking for the KO, not able to make it happen, but Kratos does pick it up.
Great, even with the full heal from Absol, it won't be enough for them to get away. Slash Cannon with a revenge knockout will take down the Dodrio, but now it's a 3-on-3 fight remaining. Slash
I'm back.
with a forward break.
No, don't worry, guys. I'm back. Raguchi, we're watching the games. What happened? Who died? Who threw? It was a minute and a half.
Slash, really, to counter that. Obviously, Dodrio wanted that KO, but Slash right back the other way. You got to be really impressed with Slash's Umbreon. I've said this many times, and I think we're talking about this.
Okay, I don't see any buffs on Roland, so it doesn't look like he was successful on an invade if he went for an invade.
Umbreon in the world. I think Slash's Umbreon.
Bro, I want to see this Raichu cook. Every Raichu game I've seen up until... Oh, Dodrio going in.
Well, already happy he's going with the mean look build. Will get taken down, but a 1v3, that's tough odds for any Pokemon, even a defender as prolific as that.
Okay, well... Oh, he got the red buff? Oh, never mind.
Orange Juicers favor Kratos getting very close to that level 9. Of course, that big benchmark the Central Area players want to hit before the 7-minute mark.
I don't know if you just said he's on mean look. Maybe I just saw it wrong. I thought it was foul.
I meant to say foul play, my bad.
Okay, no problem. Just give some of his money to me. That's how that works.
I can't believe I almost
early break on the side of Orange Juicers. They are not messing around.
All right, Luminosity Gaming getting a whole.
So you got some top lane farm going over the side to LG, but at least they opened up the map.
That tier
And if they get their Regilucky, it'll pressure the tier 2.
Having a tough time
Emphasis
breaking
on if.
through the high defenses, but with that cycle cut almost all the way down to 0 HP for Zugrug.
And look at that, just
Oh, Kyrios with the double buffs, getting the kill secure on the Ninetales. We got a 3 versus 5 in the bottom lane. Zacian staying top lane. Ninetales is down for the count. They're walking back to the bottom lane. However, they're not going to make it in time. LG ripped the Regirock and secure that for their side. 90 to 68, there's a 22-point difference. Zacian secures the Regilucky. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, getting caught in the Avalanche and the Blizzard. Umbreon goes down. They trade 1 for 2. Lapras.
Yeah, kind of an annoying moveset.
Lapras and Ninetales go down. Umbreon goes down 1 for 2 in favor of LG. They break the bomb goal.
Counters Dodrio, sense release. But you know the other interesting thing about this, anything that's attacking Mimikyu outside of that zone,
They haven't scored a single point on this bottom tier 1 yet.
The big Pokemon would be, of course, Alola Ninetales.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, Dodrio gets caught out, and it's Trick Room Mimikyu. So a lot of movement speed. Mimikyu put their dancing shoes on for this match.
Now Luminosity Gaming poised to kind of make a big push into one of these team fights, but both these teams have started to unlock some Unite moves. Snow Globe, one of the best defensive Unite moves from any of the attackers in the game.
Look at them.
Oh, Umbreon going in deep. Pops their Unite move, landing the foul play on the Snarl, zoning out the enemy team while LG are breaking the goal. So it looks like Umbreon was going to end, but they frontlined they stalled long enough for their entire team to break the top tier 1. So I would say that's actually pretty worth.
They are well known for this. Zugrug, this defender player, is known to be kind of the steward of the bottom path for the majority of any of these matches. It's not well known.
Okay, Sableye are able to get a small score in, but they go down for that. They get punished. How's it going, Shadow Boss? 168 to 158, so literally a 10-point difference. If we look across the board, Raichu leading the charge, or the pack, with level 11, as well as Absol as well.
Very nice.
Dodrio not far behind.
Season 4, which is huge.
Yeah, which is
Regilucky spotting in 15
Gets
seconds.
crazy around Season 8, I can tell you that much with Zugrug. As we head down to the bottom path right here, 5 seconds left.
The OJ are prepping for bottom. Are they going to get a pick here? No, they do not.
Pivot top. Umbreon staying there.
Registeel is up on the board. We got a 4 versus 4 Lapras and... Oh, there's the hoop unbound. Mimikyu goes down to the Zacian. Raichu kill secures the Zacian, trading 1 for 1. Raichu popped their Unite move as well. Roland going in. Gets absolutely melted by the Psycho Cut and Absol Unite move. Ninetales also united, but doesn't look like they tagged anyone relevant. Registeel's at 25%. There's a Psycho Cut. There's a Night Slash. Ninetales secures it with the Blizzard and Avalanche. Mimikyu pops their Unite move onto the Ninetales. Where was that Unite move before the objective was taken, my guy?
Zugrug fighting right here, seeing how long they can last against these two carriers.
There's the Trick Room and the Shadow Claw pumping out the damage. Overall, pretty chaotic fight, but Orange Juicers did get the objective. 26 on 26, Sableye scoring. That's a 0-point overcap, 190 to 168. We got a 22-point lead in favor of Orange Juicers over here.
168, 190 for the Juicers.
Orange Juicers with a lead, certainly in points, and nobody hitting that level 13 point until Dodrio just does it a moment ago. So Orange Juicers also leading the line.
Alright, so it looks like this Regilucky will go uncontested. Orange Juicers are postured around the top lane, but looks like they're not interested in trying to compete for this objective. Keep in mind that is the last Regilucky of the game. There will not be enough time for a second one. Sableye going for a potential cheeky back cap, but looks like Mimikyu might get caught out here, and they do. Umbreon pops her Unite move, gets the kill secure on the Lapras as well. Raichu with the double kill. Regilucky crashes into the tier 2, that's 80. Long story short, guys, we got an 8-point difference. This game is really damn close in terms of points.
But again, Luminosity Gaming's aggressive playstyle comes first place yet again. Breaks through that defense, gets a huge score. They have now taken the points lead barely into their hands, and Orange Juicers trailing by 8.
We have one more objective spawning here in the bottom path.
Alright, 20 seconds until the last Reggie of the game spawns prior to Rayquaza. We'll see if either team wants to go and compete for that. We got level 14 Dodrio, level 14 Raichu, level 13 Absol, level 13 Zacian. So the core damage dealers are well underway in terms of power spiking. Okay, it's a Registeel. Best Reggie in the game, debatably.
tough onto Sugrug. It's a whole lot of damage early. Foul play.
Lapras getting absolutely melted, but they popped their Unite move. Absol pops their Unite move. He'll...
Whoa, incredible
Who secured it?
right here as multiple members, 4 members of LG.
Ninetales
5
secured it,
members
but
of
4
LG
people on the side of LG get absolutely wiped. They went for the team fight, and 3 people on their side didn't Unite move. Oh no! I don't think they realized that was the last fight of the game. And it's a blowout. And a one-sided team fight in the bottom lane costed them the entire game, and OJ, from the looks of it, no one has scored yet. Keep in mind, no one has scored. And keep in mind, they still have Unite moves on the side of Luminosity Gaming, so it's still not over yet, despite the fact that Orange Juicers have Rayquaza shields.
Yeah, Orange Juicers peeling back right now. They have a lot of shields, but they don't have the points yet. Roland hiding in the top path, waiting for their moment right here. It's possible that they are just waiting until it's time to move in and actually distract multiple members of Luminosity, but it looks like LG knows they're there. They must have pinged that Umbreon up there because they are now peeling back.
Nobody has scored on the side of Orange Juicers. Keep that in mind. Despite the fact that they have Rayquaza shields, technically they're still losing right now. They're playing scared because they do have Unite moves on the side of Luminosity Gaming.
For a possible play, but this is one of their worst options to score.
Yeah, especially with that Alolan Raichu hiding away. Eject button again.
Oh, there's the eject button from Ninetales. They took the lead. 446. Oh, 482 at 288. OG are going for the push here.
Flareon's likely to get traded, but no! Roland and Flareon's with too many stuns for the Alolan Raichu to deal with. And
A temporary tactical retreat. They got their Unite moves, they got their battle items, and they went for the push. And now it is game 1 for Orange Juicers. 736 to 288. They're going to keep on scoring. But at the end of the day, Orange Juicers are going to take game number 1.
Huge win to start our winners finals here for the Juicers. 288 to 870.
Yeah, protecting a few parts of this endgame that could have gone awry. Immediately retreat, defend any of those goal zones for any respawning member of Luminosity Gaming to try to back cap, and also...
Alright, we're going to end this prediction.
Some Unite moves that could have been absent after that fight around the Registeel, just to ensure that a push would be successful. So, a game win going to be on the board for Orange Juicers, the first in a best-of-5 between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible start here.
Yeah,
and,
OG take game number 1.
It's always exciting to see a team give Luminosity a run for their money. I think a lot of people expect Luminosity to win a lot of their matches. They're one of, if not the best teams in the world.
All right, I'm going to start prediction number 2 for game number 2, guys.
Absolutely on pace for the entire game. Looking incredible right here. We're starting off with that early steal there from Roland. One of the best Sableye players to do it. You love to see it.
Yeah. And we got a cool stat there in the lower third, just to remind everybody, these teams have played...
And then we're going to play some ads just because, you know, play them now so it doesn't interrupt the next match.
15 game wins and Orange Juicers only at 6. But after watching that matchup, I mean, these two teams could not be closer. We had the lead change multiple times between these teams. We're at under a 10-point difference headed into the final stretch. I mean, just such an exciting game. This is going to be a great match.
It's going to be so fun. I mean, a lot of this match was very close, and then all of it came down to this fight right here. We have Alolan Raichu trying to peel away from this, but look at that Sableye knockoff.
You have the script?
3 members with the stuns from Sableye right there, and they just couldn't do enough. Full team wipe. No one from LG can get back in time. The Juicers player of the game is...
Alright, I got to mute because I got to talk to my brother again, so just bear with me.
Hey, with that 68,000 damage stat as well as 6 knockouts. So throughout that matchup, only building the drive lens to full stacks via assists, likely, as that match occurred with 6 knockouts only getting you up to the, I believe, the... Well, no, that would fill it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would get there, but they got him at the end. They got him at the end. Look,
forgot you get 2.
Yeah, it's true, but they did. They got him later, but also that's one of the amazing things about these new items is even if you're not the Pokemon securing a lot of the KOs, as long as you're working with your team, you are stacking these things up. And all of these teams, obviously, they're well-oiled machines. They show up together at these fights. They Pokemon unite, and they win big engagements. Even if you only get a couple KOs for the squad squad there. Everyone is sort of sharing that item stacking.
Yeah, it was huge for them. I think that my favorite moment was that crazy Sableye flank from Roland without a Unite move, by the way, which is another great source of crowd control that Sableye has access to. They had used it a little earlier in that central area push that Kratos and Roland were on, and then just a great shutdown despite that. Like that mentioned, knockoff with 3 players, Zogrug on the other side with the Lapras, just a perfect combination play between those 2 players. Cool to see the support and defender working together in tandem.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great start here for the Juicers, right? I know if I know how Luminosity is feeling, and I honestly don't, but if I know how Luminosity is feeling, they do not want to lose this, even though they have their spot to Worlds guaranteed.
Totally.
They want to absolutely
Yeah, that was
in the regional finals, and they're up against the toughest team, the Juicers. They're giving them a run for their money already.
Yeah, and a reminder, they are going up against the former North America regional champions. Currently, Orange Juicers hold that title. Luminosity Gaming, the title holders of a whole lot of
looking for a
other
possible play,
accomplishments. But that North America
Juicers coming
regional
up to
title
stop.
has not found its way
Incredible
to a
stuff right here. Is multiple
specific trophy case. Obviously, a
All
few
right.
of those players have earned that title, but I'm sure the organization and these players would love to have a win. Maybe they can get it started here in game number 2.
Yeah, Luminosity Gaming.
game number 2 versus Luminosity and OJ. Keep in mind they're swapping sides, so Luminosity Gaming getting the first pick, and then Orange Juicers getting their 2 picks in the second rotation. So we got a Snorlax ban, we got a Blissey ban, we got a Suicune ban, we got a Psyduck ban. First pick, let's see what Luminosity Gaming decide to prioritize. Looks like they're gonna go with the Hoopa support. Hoopa support, very flexible, very solid support overall. S tier alongside Blissey and Psyduck. I personally think Psyduck is a little
Yeah, it feels
like,
like
less-
there's no reason for the Juicers to really
just under Blissey and Hoopa personally, but that's just me. Zacian and Lapras going over to Orange Juicers. Luminosity Gaming, Curious on the Raichu again, and Rainer potential. Oh no, Slash is gonna lock in the Umbreon.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe that was the one thing I would change. Was the Alolan Raichu. It certainly did a lot of damage, but I don't know if it was enough to get them across that finish line. Orange Juicers looks like they're hovering the exact same pick, so an identical comp being loaded up for Orange Juicers so far. But the first adaptation for Luminosity Gaming is going to be locked in. Overlord selecting the Gyarados.
Yeah, we have Trainer once again on the Mimikyu right here. I wonder if they're going to change it up a little bit and possibly not run Trick Room. They have the exact same situation they were trying to counter here.
Yeah.
So it's maybe they just decide, you know what, Trick Room was the way to go. Obviously, if you have Shadow Sneak, there are a few juicy targets on the side of the Juicers that you are able to dive in on. If you can hit a Shadow Sneak on the Alolan Ninetales, you can get to a situation where you can kind of bait out its Blizzard Avalanche.
Right.
And hopefully it would miss, so that could be huge.
It is a tricky Pokemon to Shadow Sneak, though, right?
It is.
It becomes a bit of a coin flip or mind games in terms of
Whoever
alright,
takes
I
Raichu
need to use
loses.
Avalanche, I need to
That's
win,
not
and
true. I'm sure Raichu has won a few games.
So a tough spot for Mimikyu to be in. I do like the Trick Room shenanigans against Dodrio. It's a fun little matchup that we don't see those mechanics showcased too often with the Trick Room speed differences. Of course, the VGC counterpart, we see it a ton. So fun to see in Pokemon Unite with Mimikyu being set up that way. But I do think one of the big changes, of course, or the only change in this draft, being that Gyarados locked in for Overlord. We took a look at those win rate graphics earlier on today, and this Pokemon is doing phenomenal in North America.
Yeah, I think Gyarados across the board, like we saw it in EU before.
Worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide. I would say it's Mr. Worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
A few people going for that title, but Gyarados gonna put him in the
I
running.
really do think Gyarados can get it. I honestly think so.
He's held the crown for too long.
Yeah, that's enough of you, Pitbull. I do think Gyarados is pretty amazing. Overlord's Gyarados for a long time has been a real force. I feel like I haven't seen him play it in an insane amount of tournaments, but I remember when Gary hit Eos Island, I saw Overlord playing it, and it has a play style that I feel like is very in tune with how Overlord plays. It's very deliberate in a super exciting way, kind of like Overlord's Aegis Slash. As we head into our second game here, Luminosity Gaming, your purple team, Orange Juicers, your orange team. Roland looking for a steal, not able to make it happen this time.
All right, no back-to-back red buff. Good coverage by both Otter and Trainer. You could also see them kind of intentionally kiting that Escavalier into the tall grass on their side, playing it extremely safe no matter how long it takes to take that central area Pokemon.
Roland now just kind of bullying the side here of Luminosity Gaming. They would like to get some of this and take it away from the Magikarp, and it looks like they are able to secure right there due to the Zacian Slash.
Yeah, OG already with 15 points of Eos energy in pocket means they have been clearing absolutely everything, not only because they've been out contesting the side of Luminosity Gaming, but due to Roland's invade, there's just been a whole lot of wild Pokemon for that Zacian to work through.
Now Roland trying to get some information.
They might try to like death ball this top lane because they have a Magikarp, which would make a lot of sense because it is a Magikarp.
No warning from Alolan Ninetales, though, actually kind of blowing their cover as they go on top, but it didn't matter. Massive double KO.
That's what I like to see. Weak top lane because of the Magikarp. Like, they're not giving Magikarp the opportunity to just slowly stall and farm their passive so they can level up. So aggressive and proactive play on the side of Orange Juicers, but it pays off in a very big way.
They are trying to push the Juicers out of their central area here. 20 seconds until we have a fight in the center there over the Swablu and Altaria, and right now everyone is heading back to their path so they can get as much experience as possible. OG already level 7, gapping that Gyarados by 3 levels.
Yeah, okay. In the bottom path, it's getting a little interesting, but finally all these teams can rotate. Slashcam is just super aggressively positioned for information, but Trainer with the long-range Shadow Sneak is going to clear those very, very quickly. The second Shadow Sneak will not find a target, go a little bit wide, and that allows Kratos and Roland to play a bit farther forward, but at this point in time, with no Unite moves to utilize, a full push would be very dangerous.
Great positioning there from Luminosity Gaming. They were behind on levels, but they were able to secure everything in that central area because of how aggressively they played that. As we now have 2 Pokemon heading into the central area of LG once again, looking to see what they can steal, looking to see if they can get a KO on Trainer. So very close. Roland almost goes down, trying to peel away from Otter here, and Roland, what a juke. What a juke right there. Otter looking for them. He knows where they are. He knows what Roland's trying to do. Gonna chase them down with juke right here. No
Bro, that is...
way.
Honestly, I think that... Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
Right now is Roland somehow
The passive on Sableye and it's going invisible is so stupid sometimes. Like, I feel like there are times when this Pokemon should die and, like, it miraculously survives because you don't have enough time to, like, target it. Because, like, the invisibility just works so... It's so jank. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if you're Sableye running through the Flux Zone, and you're just walking normally, I feel like you should show a little bit more consistently than it does.
Instead, will retreat towards that tier 1 where Orange Juicers are aggressing on right now. Big push. Curios picks up both of those citrus berries. Is still ready for this fight.
Mimikyu pops the Unite onto Knights, and they barely survive! 1 HP in a dream, and they're literally limping away back to their goal right now. They pick up the berries, they
defend if they decide to push. Luminosity Gaming instead heading towards the central area to see how much of this experience they could get. They still need to get a Unite move on Overlord, only level 8.
Yeah, kind of a concerning fight for Orange Juicers in that last one, though. Had a huge player advantage, only momentarily. You saw the adaptation from both Slash and Trainer to go and help out Curios, but still, Alolan Raichu able to defend that goal zone against so many members, a tough spot, and now Zugrug is going to have to do it again on the top side, with the only backup being OG Zacian.
And here we go, Overlord using that Unite move, just zoning them out in that moment. If they decide to fight, they know that they are going down. Zug getting pushed away here. Beautiful 40 points. Mimikyu trying to put some more points in that top goal zone. Zugrug does go down, but you have the Juicers counter-scoring in the bottom path, so they are trying to get as many points on the board as they possibly can. 160 now, 173. Slash trying to fight in the bottom path and push them off, but it looks like, yes, they're going down to the Dodrio.
Okay, well, play call was made by Orange Juicers to sacrifice that tier 1 in the name of a break in the tier 1 in the bottom side. So,
now, the thing about OJ, at least in this series so far, is that they're, whether it pays off or not, they're constantly trying to make proactive plays. They're playing more aggressive than LG is, which is actually a little outside the norm, because normally LG is known for playing having the really aggressive play style. You got a 44 in the bottom lane, but you got the Hoopa Unite. Lapras is on their way down bottom lane. They pop their Unite move, try to rotate faster. Regis secured by the Mimikyu. Ninetales goes down to the Gyarados. It's a 5v4 in the bottom lane now. Mimikyu pops their Unite move onto the Zacian. That's a kill secure. 2-0 in favor of LG. And they get the objective. Plus, they're breaking the goal. Meanwhile, on the side of OJ, they're trying to respond by recuperating some of the points. 2 people backcapping. They scored 37 points on the bomb tier 2, 229 to 210. So 19 points in favor of LG. But keep in mind, they got the objective, they got the goal, and they got the kills, and they got the more experience off that. Raichu pops their Unite move. Dodrio getting caught out. That is 3 kills going over to LG in total.
Yeah, Luminosity Gaming not really relying on the Trick Room to be the stunning effect on the Dodrio this time around, but just
Okay, so they also secure the Regieleki. Unless this goes into the top tier 2, it's not going to have too much value. So let's see if LG want to commit on this push. Overlord is just hanging out in this pixel bush over here by the buff. There's the Umbreon Unite stealing the shields. Ninetales pops the Unite move trying to defend. Lapras is going in and out, pulling the aggro from the Regieleki. Ninetales picks up a double kill. Dodrio going for the high jump kick, misses the Umbreon. Overall, that's 3 for 2.
Now we have Kratos looking to pick up the KOs right here. Great plays from Otter in the hoop.
Make that a 3 for 4?
Defensive looks there, but I don't know how exactly.
No. Wait.
This game 2 feels exactly like game 1. If everyone's
4 for 2. Sorry, 4 for 2 in favor of LG.
But we had the exact same thing happen from Luminosity Gaming in that game number 1 on that push in the tier 2, and it went incredible for LG. They dominated Orchards. They were able to shut them down. But then we could say the inverse.
That being said, overall, it's still a really close game. We might have a deja vu all over again. Bottom lane is spawning. Regice is on the map. Dodrio is rotating down bottom. It's still a 4v4. Gyarados and Dodrio need to rotate to get into position. 30 seconds before Quasar spawns. Hoopa Unbound. This is going to be the team fight. Mimikyu popping their Unite move onto the Dodrio. They do get the kill secure. Zacian going down 2 for nothing in favor of LG. Keep in mind, Dodrio and Zacian still have Unite moves, and it's still 15 seconds before Quasar spawns, so it looked like that might have been the endgame team fight, but they're going to get to do this rodeo one more time.
No Unite move on the Sableye.
5 seconds. They might go for the full-on rip. Zacian and Dodrio are racing back to the middle. Lapras pops their Unite move. Sableye with the Confuse Ray and the Unite move. Sableye goes down. Ninetales pops their Unite move. Doesn't do any damage to any priority targets.
Slashcan with a brilliant Umbreon Unite move just to give a little bit of shielding.
Zacian is off on the side. Rayquaza is slowly getting chipped away at. There's the bounce from Gyarados, landing onto Zugrug. Raiju kill secures Lapras. There's still 4 people on the map on the side of OJ. They're pulling the Rayquaza, trying to pull them into the center, trying to force that fight with the numbers advantage. Rayquaza's at about 55% HP. Eject button from Ninetales lands the Blizzard and the Avalanche, chipping away at Overlord. But you can see that they're self-sustaining right now with that Regice buff. Rayquaza's at less than half. It's at 40%. Hoopa goes down to Kratos. It's at 30%, 25%. Oh my god, and Raichu secures it! In a blink of an eye, it went from 20% to 0%. Raichu gets the Rayquaza secure. 4 members down on the side of OJ. That's going to be game number 2 going to Luminosity. And they punch back. We actually got ourselves a first best-of-3 series.
What a crazy Ray fight. Just back and forth the whole way as Rayquaza was just getting chipped throughout that entire thing. It felt like a team would go to engage, then peel back to Ray. The other team would move out to engage and peel back to Ray until it just got to the point where everyone needed to throw all the damage they possibly could. Great Unite move there from Curios and continue to attack with those boosted so that they could get the secure.
So LG win game number 2, guys.
In that team fight, having to make some risky plays. I do think that final push they made where they tried to target priority the Hoopa, maybe a little tough of a decision.
All right, let's do a third prediction just to start it off.
Take down another major target like that Alolan Raichu, but either way, a tough spot to be in, and Luminosity game.
All right, game number 3, guys. Prediction is up. If you want to bet some channel points, go for it. I'm also going to play an ad. You know the drill. We play the ads after the game's end. That way they don't interrupt the next match. I know it's annoying, but at least they won't play during the live matches.
Very close to a mirror from game 1, but LG able to shut down a lot of what the Juicers were trying to do. Here was that really exciting early push from the Orange Juicers into the top path that gave him a ton of value. And then, of course, here's Roland just breaking some ankles out there.
Yeah, another matchup that did feel kind of in lockstep throughout the entire time, but this time it felt like Orange Juicers were keeping it close, kind of in consolation prizes. A lot of team fights going LG's way, and then Orange Juicers getting some crazy back caps to keep that score close. The only other time that tier 2...
Oh, I'll do that right now. Here, wait, hold on. I will do that right now,
Here's
see?
that Ray fight, and we could just see Dodrio. They look for the KO right here. As soon as they go on Hoop, I think Luminosity recognizes they could.
You got your channel points. You're good.
The second that is out on Rayquaza, that is your indication. That's the bat signal. Everyone attack this right now.
Yeah, Dodrio having kind of a weird path with its Unite move there. It looked like it was initially poised to hit that Rayquaza and charge right through the big old dragon, but at some point either the Pokemon it was originally targeting moved, and it did kind of avoid the majority of that Ray pit. So only able to knock up a couple of targets, and I mean, we said it was close. I was giving LG kind of the edge in that matchup, but still, extremely close finish. It could have went either way, back-to-back games now.
Oh, absolutely. It could have definitely went either way. And, I mean, you saw it there, right? You saw how close it was with the Alolan Ninetales throwing the Blizzard Avalanche. We have the Dodrio Unite move. I think in a fight like that, after Hoopa goes down, you might want to get the Dodrio Unite move out earlier and still target some of the enemy players, because you can secure a Ray with it. You also can knock up people on your way, but it feels... it feels really inconsistent. You're going to have some amazing moments with it and some tough moments, and I think it might be better used to pick up KOs on the way.
Yeah, it's been an interesting strategy that Orange Juicers have been employing. They have kind of this scoring slash wild flank composition with the duo of Roland and Kratos on this Sableye and Dodrio, and then they kind of just rely on Old Faithful with a consistent attacker in Alolan Ninetales and a very traditional built, like very defensive-minded defender in the Lapras on the other side, and just kind of OG doing their thing on Zacian. So it's interesting to have kind of these two schools of thought, a hyper movement based composition and then a slow and steady on the other side of the map, and worked for them great in game number 1.
No, like
two,
the thing is that Regice actually made a huge difference in the end game. Because they prolonged the Rayquaza, like a full-on Rayquaza fight for so long, they got so much value out of the self-sustain from that Regice buff. Because the buff lasts for a minute, like the Regice buff or whatever Reggie buff lasts for a minute and a half. So because it didn't turn into a chaotic fight immediately, and they were able to defend Rayquaza for as long as they did, like they never had to really recall back to base, which is actually really good. In that situation, Regis had more value than something like a Registeel or a Regirock would have.
You snarl stun, you decide if this is going to be the fight. Even if it's not, you just port right back, get a ton of HP back on Umbreon, and you're ready to continue to move in again and disrupt them once more. It also continuously gives you information about what your opponents are doing, because you're able to dive so deep that you kind of know exactly where every member of the opposing team is.
Yeah, it sort of breaks up a really difficult choice that Umbreon players have to make a lot of the time. They have great moveset with that Foul Play and Snarl build. They can push into multiple targets, they get a ton of unstoppable tags given, and anytime they're using this combo, but usually you have to decide, all right, I'll Foul Play in, but I might need the Snarl to get back to my team. But instead, the Trick Hoopa just allows you to go, all right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to press all of my buttons, get maximum amount of stuns, and then immediately retreat to the rest of my team and allow my Alolan Raichu just to free fire into the backline.
Yeah, and we saw a really good game from the Alolan Raichu.
Yeah, I thought this was a great game in game number 2.
It looked fantastic, and I think it did require a lot of support, right, from the side of LG, but they gave it to it, and it looked pretty phenomenal. Now we're going to have to see if anything changes up here. Orange Juicers lost that game, so they do get the opportunity to pick which side they want to play on right here. It actually looks like it's flipped around.
Okay, so that makes more sense.
There we go. I was going to say they picked second choice, but no, they decided for first pick right here, Blissey, Gyarados, Ban. On the other side, Sableye, Psyduck. First pick over to the Juicers.
Okay, so Luminosity Gaming have allowed this Sableye to go through multiple games now, are finally going to ban that Pokemon, but that does leave a very certain all-rounder available, and Suicune can be locked up.
Yeah, the question is, what was more valuable, right? Was it more valuable to take away the Suicune, or was it more valuable to take away 2 huge picks for Roland?
Alright guys, I'm just ordering my food right now, like, paying for it. So I just need to go get my wallet, but I'm coming right back.
The biggest counters to the Juicers, I feel like we mentioned it a lot. OG is insane on Zacian. I don't know how much their team loves them on some of the other picks.
Yeah, this Buzzwole matchup is interesting too. Luminosity Gaming was kind of able to showcase how different those Pokemon scale within the early game in their matchup in the winter semis, and Overlord was kind of able to take a huge lead and just carry it on from there. Luminosity Gaming making even more adaptations, not only stealing away the Zacian, but also stealing away Zugrug's Lapras.
Yeah.
And Slash is going to play yet another defender in our tournament.
I mean, Lapras won them Worlds, so I think they're pretty familiar with how powerful this Pokemon can be. I love the Inteleon pick right here. When you look at the Juicers right now, they want to play at kind of a medium range or even very close when you're considering something like this Buzzwole. And Inteleon outranges all of the ranged Pokemon on the side of Juicers. Both Alolan Raichu and Suicune are kind of in this weird zone where any of the long-range snipers...
Let's go, guys. LG versus LG versus OJ. The orange Juicers were the LG gamers.
Like you mentioned, you want to try to outrange a lot of that crowd control with the Inteleon. Well,
Alright.
so can Talonflame just by soaring above.
I'm just gonna hide my camera, you know, just in case I don't leak my credit card info.
We're probably going to be looking at another trick-based Hoopa from Otter. So be really huge. I mean, I've been talking all weekend long about how much I adore that duo of Snorlax and Suicune together, but if I was to draft up a composition that would play rather well into it, I really do like this Inteleon Talonflame damage core for Luminosity Gaming.
I think Inteleon and Talonflame here into Alolan, Raichu, and Suicune is a great counter. I mean, this is going to be a hard match, it feels like, for the Juicers. Great. Talonflame does not need to go in until it's time to crash in and do a ton of damage, so they're really not going to be able to do much to Talon there. And same thing with Inteleon. Inteleon gets to play at ludicrous range, and they almost, I mean, they really have nothing to go get it. What are they going to go get it with? I guess you're going to see Buzzwole possibly dive in very deep looking for that KO, but Curios should be able to just, you know, snipe shot at will throughout this match.
True. I do think if there's one thing that the Orange Juicers can kind of be happy about in this situation is that Luminosity Gaming's kind of unchecked aggressive playstyle will be a little bit more difficult to pull off with this composition in terms of the constant invades and trying to take away Orange Juicers' wild Pokemon. I think Orange Juicers are going to have a much better time farming up safely in this situation. Alolan Raichu, if everything goes well for Kratos, should be scaled extremely high in this matchup, but I think Alolan Raichu will be a pretty nasty source of firepower for this Orange Juicers team.
I'm interested to see Kratos on this Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you often see Kratos on something that is very dive heavy, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Okay,
Kratos is
I don't have to worry about the food anymore. We're good to go, guys. We can enjoy the games and we can relax. And then, you know, I'll come get my food afterwards.
An interesting range with this because you are close enough to the battle to continuously fight, but you also have to stay at good enough range because you are so dang squishy with Alolan Raichu that you can go down pretty fast.
Yeah, that's true. A terrifying place to be in, but you do got some good backup to try and give you some protection in terms of that Snorlax or that Suicune, or hey, even Roland's Eldegoss can give you a bit of that backup. We do have the duel here in the bottom path to start. Zugrug on the Snorlax, Ken on the Lapras, and Spriggles.
Ooh, so this is a bit of a change.
We
We got Raichu jungle, as well as the Talonflame jungle. But for the first time in this series, Snorlax was not banned, and it's going over to Zugrug. So let's see if this Snorlax pick and the signature Zugrug pick is able to clutch out a Game 3 in favor of OJ. Raichu actually getting a kill secure very early on the Hoopa. Snorlax goes down the bottom lane.
And instead they are able to score in that top path.
So we got a trade 1-for-1 on both sides of the map.
All right, all things going according to plan for Kratos, though. That's 2 Drive Lens stacks so far. Very early to get that attack stat, or special attack stat, rather, boosting up. And then it's going to be massive for them later. I'm not going to lie, I am pretty surprised to see Trainer into the bottom path off the first rotation. Into Suicune Snorlax, it feels like you'd rather punish the Buzzwole early in this situation, but at the moment, Orange Juicers feeling fantastic about their top path play right now. Orange Juicers have their level 5 Buzzwole to work with, and if you
let me double check. I can't tell you. The prediction lasts for 10 minutes, so yeah, it did close. It did close.
At the same time, sometimes you just want to mix up where your center area Pokemon's
I can't play it any longer because otherwise it overlaps with the game, depending on when I start it. But yeah, I started at the end. I started at the end of
36 right here. Overlord only level
The
5.
previous
And
match.
we've actually seen Overlord struggle a little bit in the top path the past few games.
Full level advantage for OG on this Buzzwole, and this will be the first Swablu Altaria fight.
Ooh,
Trainer
Brightbird landing onto
upgrade
Flareons.
so far is gonna extend all the way to
The
end
Poland
of
Pup
the
not
Brightbird
able to
taking
regen them in
down
time.
Suicune, and actually
Brightbird
taking
landing
down
onto
a
Kratos as
second
well.
goal,
Double
and
kill.
Raichu getting knocked out is massive for Luminosity Gaming.
Looking for a possible triple, but no, decides to Brave Bird out, noticing that OG was
2
down
consecutive
bad.
Brave Birds followed by the
They
Aerial
really
Aces
need
for the resets back to back. Trainer getting a double kill is huge, especially on the enemy jungler. They are level 8. They're going to go back to clear their jungle. They're going to get their Unite move.
There by Luminosity. Just very heads up play, recognizing when they can't push that advantage anymore.
Yeah, Snorlax's Gluttony passive as well.
The thing is,
Surprises me in
Suicune
how
needs the
maybe
setup.
that
Like, it
is
needs to land its skills for the CC. And obviously, if you're in range, then,
Snorlax and disastrous striking in that
you know, you're going to get CC'd and preventing you from outputting your damage. The thing about Talonflame is that as long as they're positioned properly, they're never going to be in range to get stunned immediately. Like, they're probably always going to get their Brave Bird off. And if they successfully landed, they're going to get the damage off. Like now, they landed Brave Bird, already taking Flareon's to less than half. Heavy Slam onto Talonflame. They're level 9. They got their Unite move. Snipe shot secure onto the Regirock. Nice snipe shot onto Flareon's again. Meanwhile, the top lane, Overlord is struggling quite a bit in this lane.
And it does feel like, yeah, Zacian's going to try to do a lot of damage to it.
But keep in mind, they did get early game ganked by the Raichu.
So we haven't seen a ton of Buzzwole over this weekend, to be honest. It showed up here and there, but for the most part, we have seen the Leech Life. But
Brave landing to OJ, and that is going to be a kill secure on the side of Luminosity Gaming. 40-26, that is 66 points in favor of Luminosity. Talonflame popping their Unite move. Questionable decision. They land the aerial, eject button away. They get the shield from the Hoopa as well. Oh, Hoopa limping away, but they still live regardless.
Curios level 10 right here, and Talonflame just an absolute superstar.
So despite the fact that top lane was going relatively well for the side of Orange Juicers, the rotation from the rest of the team just helps dominate that lane in the favor of LG. Intellion popping the Unite move. There's the Brave from Talonflame, landing the aerial aces, gets the resets, goes down. Eject button, smackdown, and Leech Life from the Buzzwole. Kill secures onto the Inteleon. Tries to land the smackdown again, doesn't land it. Misses the Leech Life as well. Unfortunately, not able to connecting any of their skills. Off screen, Talonflame actually kill secures Raichu in a 1 versus 1. But must have picked him off in the jungle.
They were broken by Otter's Hoopa in a couple of different moments. I mean, SmackDown.
Okay, things are starting to calm down a bit. 119 to 46 points. We're about to hit the halfway point in this game. There will be a second Regieleki because it was secured at 5:07, so it's going to spawn at 3:07. 15 seconds till bottom Regi spawns. We'll have to see how the teams want to position themselves. Keep in mind, LG do have the advantage of having a Hoopa, so despite the fact that 2 people are bombed, they still can Hoopa unbound for this top lane push if they so choose to.
A scary fight if LG decides to take it. They have been pushing this a lot in the past few games.
Flappers popping the Unite move, they're going in.
Trying to make a play right here, but it looks like they
No, they decided against it. Regieleki was too low, and they didn't want to brute force it. Talonflame and Inteleon are rotating down bottom lane. Hoopa is still in the center of the jungle. They're not moving. Did they be? Oh, I thought they DC'd. They're just in the pixel brush. Registeel secured by the Inteleon. It goes uncontested.
Heck of a consolation prize with that Registeel being taken down. And of course, if you're following along with the clock, both those objectives.
So Orange Juicers,
to reappear before our final stretch begins.
quite the contrast from games number 1 and 2. It's very different to see them play on the back foot. They were playing very aggressive in games number 1 and 2, but I think this Talonflame from Trainer is just really preventing them from getting any momentum in the game. Once again, Braver lining up to Suicune, followed by the air laces. There's the Unite move. Eldegoss pops a Unite move as well. Raichu actually gets the kill secure onto Talonflame. Snipe shot lining into Eldegoss, taking him to less than half. There's the Poland Puff. Hoopa unbound from Otter.
And this push could still happen. Kratos
Dashin takes the portal.
access to that star power, so he can drop that right on top of a goal zone. Make
Dugrug is off on his own, trying to zone off the enemy team, but the thing is, they're off by themselves. Raichu popped their Unite move. Dashin is uniting. Eject button gets a kill secure onto Raichu. Player off onto Buzzwole. Braver misses, but lands the aerial on Flareon's. Buzzwole goes down. Talonflame gets stunned, but kill secure by the Eldegoss. Inteleon pops her Unite move, misses the snipe shot.
Luminosity.
Heavy slam onto
So
Lapras.
called it right there. I mean, you just absolutely have to love seeing players at this level.
230 to 46 points in favor of LG. Huge point disparity. We also got a Regieleki spawned in the top lane, so let's see if they decide to go rotate for that. Lots of farm on the map for both teams. The jungle is up.
It's a gigantic sword, and then immediately only a few Pokemon caught in its grasp. So very scary. Luminosity Gaming now taking another Regieleki. The basement Reggie will be spawning in. It'll have around 30 seconds of uptime until that final stretch begins, but both these teams, I think, kind of just feeling out where the enemy team wants to position. Regieleki will land, making that goal zone defenseless, but that basement Reggie, it looks like it will be in contest.
And we could once again be looking at an early Rayquaza fight.
All right, 19 seconds till Rayquaza spawns. There is a Regirock. Regieleki did crash in the top lane. It looks like Luminosity are going to give up this Regirock in exchange for that top lane goal.
Looks like they're going to hand this Regirock over to the side.
They're waiting. I'm assuming they're waiting for the double multiplier. Lapras scored 35. Talonflame scored. I don't think Zacian is going to score because they need those points for the team fight, which makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
So far up, it's possible that they don't actually make this play, and they don't. Just waiting to find the perfect.
We have a 134 point difference in favor of LG. Keep that in mind. Still not the biggest lead we've ever seen, but it's still a big lead regardless. Orange Juicers are patiently trying to scope up the area. They don't have vision of LG.
But we talked a lot about it with the Umbreon mechanics in the previous matchup.
Zacian actually recalled, so now they're going to go back to base and they're going to reposition potentially. They might be postured for a defense, but they do have a Hoop on their team. Overlord is going down to the bottom lane. Meanwhile, heavy slam onto Lapras. Hoopa pops her Unite move. Lapras forced to Unite to get away as well. There's the block from Snorlax. Nobody took the portal for the most part. Lapras is coming back in. There's a Surf. Smackdown from the Buzzwole. Snorlax was actually forced to Unite move because they were in the middle of the enemy team. There's the heavy slam onto 2. There's the block, but not catching anyone out. Snipe shot actually landing onto Raichu, taking them to less than half HP. They gotta be careful. There's the Brave Bird. Buzzwole popping their net move onto Zacian. Zacian goes down. Brave Bird onto 2. Buzzwole picking up double kill. Smackdown onto Inteleon, but the Rayquaza actually stopped them from completing their combo. Heavy slam onto Inteleon. Forced to eject Blend away.
Trying to pick up a KO. They need to go towards Rave. They need this KO. They have to take it fast, but the snipe shots keep raining through. If it can pick up another KO, they're going to be able to get the secure. Curios looking for it with a snipe shot.
Good zoning on the side of Zugrug. They were able to get the Rayquaza.
Such a great play. Zugrug tries to isolate the Hoopa. It's up to Flareons to shut down the Inteleon. An incredible play from Orange Juicers. I know all they got.
That's going to be it. There's no time left.
Hundo Burger for the Alolan Raichu. And this is going to be a game number 3 win for Orange Juicers.
Wow. I mean, I know we're in Texas, but what a Hundo Burger there at the end because they absolutely needed it.
And the Snorlax made the difference.
Oh, wow. Yeehaw.
Okay, okay. So we got time, guys. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the prediction for game number 4. Keep in mind it is a best of 5. Regionals is the best of 5 when it comes to winners in the grand finals. So prediction for game number 4. I'm gonna start right now. So that way you guys got 10 minutes. OJ won, right? Won. OJ won, right?
Match is a best of 5.
I mean, this is an absolute clash of the Titans here in NA, and you wouldn't want it any other way. And both teams look phenomenal today. Throughout this game.
Okay, OJ for the prediction. All right, prediction for game number 4. I'm going to start right now. You guys got 10 minutes. Let's rewatch that fight really quickly. We got time before the game starts.
Feeling out where the enemy team wants to position.
A little bit of trouble. Misses this next snipe shot.
Okay, so we can fast forward just a little bit right here.
Don't actually make this play, and they don't. Just waiting to.
So obviously slow and steady, guys. You got time to posture and like play this fight out collectively. Despite the fact that OJ are down in points, keep in mind that they're not rushing things. They're taking their time. They're trying to get what information they can. They're trying to get vision. Obviously, at this point, they're still at a disadvantage just because they know that they're losing by a significant amount.
going, but they
Always recall.
So we'll play from here.
In their backline.
yeah, and here we go. We just see constantly this Brave Bird trying to find members of the Juicers. They land in.
So keep in mind, Bravebird Talonflame is constantly popping in and out with the Trick Portal. Zugrug goes in, lands the... So it was a nice Heavy Slam on the Lapras. Despite the fact they're using Heavy Slam on the tank, at the very least, he forced them to Unite move early rather than later.
There. Oh, here we go.
So Lapras is taken down really low. They're forced to Unite move. Hoopa actually portals almost immediately. I think they thought the fight might happen faster than it did. Meanwhile, Snorlax is kind of zoning out the Lapras from going on the rest of the team. This is a nice little Heavy Slam from Snorlax. Despite the fact, once again, it's on the Lapras, it prevents them from recalling and it forces them to kind of reposition.
But Zug's trying to start it, but the block was too late.
Yeah, good heads-up play by Splash Can to immediately just get out of that.
So that was a very nice Brave Bird from Talonflame. It lands onto literally 3 people. So very nice. And then they can just portal back with the Trick if they had it on. Actually, I don't think they have the Trick on them that time. Hoopa was a little far away at the current moment. Eldegoss is forced to Unite immediately, gets the heal onto Suicune themselves as well as the Raichu. Buzzwole, not Buzzwole, Zacian got CC'd, and then Buzzwole popped their Unite move, and Overlord just got taken out almost immediately. So there's the play rough. They got stunned by the Suicune. They got, like, 3 people got frozen right here, so huge Unite move, or I don't know if that was just, like, their basic skills, but I'm pretty sure that's the Unite move. 3 people got seed in this nice little funnel choke point right here. Zacian gets blown up by the Buzzwole Unite. Trainer tries to go back in with the Brave Bird. And then it was really unfortunate here. So if you look right here where the Inteleon and the Buzzwole is, so I'll just circle it for you guys right here. It's so unfortunate that this could have been a lot more clean if it wasn't for Rayquaza. So Rayquaza paid actor right here. So there's the Smackdown. But because the Rayquaza Tornado interrupted OG or stunned OG right now, he wasn't able to use the second part of the Smackdown to connect with the Inteleon right here. And then they would have followed up with Leech Life at the very least. So that's unfortunate. And then they get punished for it because they get Snipe Shot immediately. So now it's still a 4v2, but it's a lot closer than it should have been if Buzzwole was able to, you know, Leech Life the Inteleon. So it's down to 25%, 20%. Inteleon's trying to secure it. Good job from Suicune and Snorlax to try to zone out and make sure that Kyrios doesn't Snipe Shot the Rayquaza. Damage is still going down to Rayquaza, but Eldegoss takes the hit. And then they DPS the Rayquaza and secure it. So very nice.
Matchups. We're jumping right back into this series with a 2-1 advantage for Orange Juicers, and they'll be in first pick position.
Here we go. The Juicers up right now. 2 games to Luminosity's 1. Again, this is a BO5 that stands for Best 05. Would love it if it stood for Best of 5, but it simply doesn't. And with Juicers up right now, they could be heading to your Grands in 1 game.
All right, locking in the Suicune yet again. But yeah, great points because they are on that match point. Luminosity Gaming going to steal away that Zacian again, and it feels like Honor. Doesn't matter on what side of the map they're going to be on, it will be a Hoopa first pick.
Interesting seeing this Talonflame band out. I mean, they're right. Trainer was unbelievable on this thing. I get Overlord taking this Zacian right here. Kratos once again saying the Alolan Raichu is the way to go, and they are going to grab the Buzz.
And it feels like at this point, Orange Juicers should be drafting in a way where they know Mimikyu is coming at this point, right? It feels most likely. So picking up that Buzzwole and Alolan Raichu are actually extremely interesting to me. But let's see where Luminosity Gaming decides to go as we start finding a few of the damage core. Kyrios going to return to that Inteleon again, a 43% pick rate in North America. And Slash going to take the Lapras. Zugrug kind of having their options. Do you want to go Snorlax? Do you want to go Umbreon?
I liked Lapras. I didn't absolutely love it in the hands of Luminosity Gaming right there. It didn't feel like it was as impactful maybe as some of their other choices possibly. I might have rather had Slash on Snorlax if I'm being honest, but I think he wants to steal it away from the Juicers because that's been part of their core strategy. Kyrios, on the other hand, on Inteleon, absolutely looked phenomenal.
Yeah, It's so interesting with all these top teams and these top 8 brackets we've seen. It feels like we see so much Lapras, but still only at a 9% pick rate in North America. Where on the other hand, Snorlax by far the most.
So they banned out Trainer's Talonflame, and
4%.
considering how I performed last game,
Will be that Absol. So Trainer,
like I don't fault them for it. They were getting, I don't want to say punished, they were just getting absolutely destroyed in the early game.
I feel like
Early and mid game by that Brave Bird Talonflame. So they took it off the board, and now they're forcing Trainer to go on a default pick, or like an alternative pick, which is the Absol. Absol can still be really good. It did get nerfed in the most recent patch. With all the other speedsters, so not doing as much damage, but can still be a real threat. Thoughts on the Zacian pick? I think Zacian is one of the top laners right now. However, overall, it hasn't been able to make as much as an impact as they probably would have liked. But that's also because last game when Overlord was playing it, he did get ganked early, and then he kind of, like, the momentum kind of slowed down. But then his team kind of balanced it out.
This is for getting a tip of the cap. I missed my hat when I did that. We're getting a tip of the cap.
You don't even
I think it's a solid pick, but whether
whether
it works out or not is up to the team and how they play in team fights, of course. The thing is, Zacian got blown up almost immediately in that team fight, so they didn't get to make much of an impact.
Flareon's getting away with this Suicune yet again. You said this when they were playing in their winners semifinals, that we don't think we would see any more Flareon Suicune. And here we go, game 4 between those two squads. Spraggles, would you please let me know which colors they're on?
Oh, absolutely. Zoinks, Orange Juicers, your purple team. Luminosity Gaming, your orange team, trailing 1 game behind Juicers here in this best of 5.
All right, Luminosity Gaming Overlord going to be heading into the top half. In that first game matchup, it was not looking great for Overlord when they were trying to battle against OG. It was actually getting outclassed. I think normally on paper you would favor the Sword Dog versus the Ultra Beast, but in this case, looks like OG just had their number. See if Overlord's got to bounce back.
And here we go, Slash just being pushed back here in this bottom path by Flareons. Such a difficult path to deal with. I mean, Suicune in general, just so hard to fight.
Yeah, and of course you have the backup of Snorlax, amazing. Objective secure, and even as they start to unlock their moves, also a very difficult Pokemon to fight in a standard fashion.
If Kratos making their way down to the bottom path here, 9 minutes on the clock. Otter spots Kratos heading up to the top path right here. The trick as they peel down Flareon, having to pull back from this as Trainer was
Okay, earlier eject button from Suicune. It is a Pursuit Absol this time around, not the Night Slash. Early full heal to not get CC. Taking away the berry as well. Okay, LG playing really aggressive in this bottom lane. Stealing the farm, or securing the farm, getting the points, getting a kill on the Suicune. That being said, in the top lane, OJ were able to kind of replicate their success in the top lane. 44 to 48, only a 4-point difference. So from that alone, you can tell that they were able to score a majority of their points in the top lane as well.
Never let a defeat stay a defeat on any part of the map. If they take a loss on one side, it is a score push on the other. These teams are just too close in skill to allow something like that to get them down.
Here we go. We are fighting in this central area right now. Just about everybody is here as these teams are looking to brawl. Here we go. Massive Sacred Sword doesn't pick up the KO right away. Trainer coming in to grab 2.
Honestly, huge.
Okay, Raichu picking up a kill. It's 1 for 2. Make that 1 for 3 in favor of LG.
To start out that fight, what a perfect stun. Puts them all in one place, allows Trainer.
It didn't look like they wanted to, like, from what it looked like, it didn't. It seemed like OG were not confident in committing to that fight. Like, it looked like they wanted to, like some of them did, but then the others didn't want to commit to it, and then they ended up splitting up.
Not much more you could ask for.
Buzzle actually goes down in the top lane in 2 versus 1. Raichu's rotating top lane. Okay, so they trade 1 for 1. Buzzle goes down, Hoopa goes down. Objectives are spawning, it's 7-minute mark. Absol is still hiding in this bush.
speaking of objectives, we have them being ripped in the top and bottom path, it looks like. Trainer trying to make something happen, but huge.
Oh.
The Absol Unite move. Absol goes down when it wakes up.
I don't think Absol was prepared for the Buzzwole because they got smacked down Leech Life. They were forced to Unite move early to try to avoid the damage, but as soon as they come out of the Unite move animation, they go down. So top lane, Regieleki going over to Orange Juicers, but in the bottom lane, the Reggie goes over to the side of LG.
Able to run enough interference. Topside push is going quite well for Orange Juicers. Able to
Okay, so Orange Juicers were able to break the top tier 1 from the looks of things? Question mark?
Yeah, and here we go, OG in a little
Yes,
bit.
they were able to break the top tier 1, 113 to 48. So they trade the points over for the bottom lane objective.
Going to be kind of a counter that I didn't even think about is the fact that you are not moving in that Leech Life and Snipe Shot.
Nice CC from the block and the Suicune. Heavy Slam onto Absol and gets the kill secure.
Secures the KO.
Yeah, you're simply not walking away from a Suicune stun and a Snorlax shutting down your escape route. There is no retreat in a situation like that. Block so powerful, and of course all that being set up with that Whirlpool Ice Beam stun by the Suicune. Just a nasty combo. I feel like it's been one of the main storylines of our regional finals worldwide, honestly.
And here we go. Flareon's still not level 9 here, but look at the levels on the side of Luminosity. I mean, 11, 9, 10, and 10 for LG. We've got a level 10 in the Alolan Raichu, but it does feel like everyone else is slightly behind on the side of the Juicers.
Zugrug posting up in that tall grass, kind of staring at the most recent.
Okay, so things have calmed down a little bit. Everyone's kind of just resetting, farming whatever they can.
With that Luminosity Gaming roster, but SlashCan rejoining the team means that Zugrug
LG do have a little bit more experience at their disposal just because top lane was taken. Looks like they're trying to trade back to the top lane. Keep in mind, they do have a Hoop on their side, so despite the fact that there's 2 people top lane, Hoopa forced a Hoop unbound very early because they got caught out. I'm not sure if they're going to take the portal on that one. Hoopa goes down. Leech Life onto Lapras. Raichu pops the Unite move. Psycho Cut lands, and they pop the Unite move immediately. Elagos follows up with the Unite move. Heals 3. Zugrug forced the Unite move because they're frontlining for the team. Zacian decided to stay top lane, and they're farming, or they're trying to clear the Regieleki. So it is a 4 versus 4 right now. There's the Trick Hoopa onto the Absol. Oh, and Absol didn't have enough damage with the Psycho Cut in pursuit. Skill. And Eldegoss actually secures it in favor of Orange Juicers. 145 to 123 in favor of LG, but they get the kills and they get the objective on the side of Orange Juicers.
Come back to fight this Lapras as soon as they break the goal zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Regieleki did crash in the top lane, so Intellion's going to score their 40 points. So 211 to 185 in favor of Orange Juicers, but LG finally decided to break the top tier 1 goal. So that's more farm for Orange Juicers.
A lot of points scored by Luminosity Gaming, but not enough to take the lead as Orange Juicers are holding that with a point score of 211.
Yeah, something to also note about Overlords right here is Zacian is they're already level 12 as they were not participating in some of these fights, just using that as an opportunity to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Got the Unite move from Slash. Carrying Trainer around the map. Just
Okay, Lapras actually united to bring the Absol to the top lane. Looks like they're trying to make a play. Lapras, very nice proactive play, but they're on the top of the goal. There's the Hoopa play. Hoopa pops the Unite move and the rest of the team goes bottom. Everyone's recalling to go bottom. Zugrug doing a good job of defending the tier 1 goal with their block. The rest of the team is here, but the goal is broken. 211 to 213, 2-point difference in favor of LG. They're trying to make the proactive plays. Lapras goes down. Now it is a 5 versus 3. LG are retreating.
Instead, they just decide to position very well around this bottom objective. Top path right now, Trainer.
And from the looks of things, they're probably going to give up bottom lane. But Lapras is positioned to go bottom as well.
These last hits on the wild Pokemon, and this is probably a free.
Lapras is off on their own. This is very questionable. They might get caught out here, potentially. Okay, it is a Regirock, so the least preferred of the Regis, and meanwhile Absol is trying to clear the Regieleki in the top lane by themselves. The rest of LG are postured around the top side for the most part. Lots of farm on the side of OJ's jungle side. Pretty much every single camp is up on the board. 5 seconds till Rayquaza spawns. Regieleki is potentially going to crash in the top tier 2. Keep in mind they do have a Hoopa, so if they want to break this goal or score at the very least, they can do so.
quite a bit.
Raichu's trying to pull the Rayquaza to get the attention of LG. There's the Hoop Unbound. Rayquaza's at 60%, 55%.
Where that hits anybody up. It's actually Zugger able to ignore most of it, so good play.
50%.
That defender player to shut
Heavy
down
slam from Zugrog misses. They're forced to Unite move.
cut off these two targets from reaching each other. Hoopa and
Absol actually united. There's the Eldegoss Unite as well.
on the other side of the battlefield.
It doesn't look like LG.
There's the eject button play from Buzzwole. They land the Leech Life and they land the Unite move. Intellion just gets absolutely nuked.
The Juicers are now turning onto Rayquaza, and every time someone from LG is coming in, they're going to try to stop them.
Rayquaza's at 40%.
Secure. Overlord is charging near the objective, seeing if they need.
There's the Leech Life on the Hoopa. Kills the cure. Dasher trying to Unite move. Doesn't have enough damage, and it goes over to OJ.
Wipe Luminosity off the map, and they're going to take it down here in Game 3 as long as they can score.
That Zacian Unite move just literally HP bars away from knocking out that Rayquaza. I think in the replay we'll see the exact numbers.
And that's going to be game 3, or sorry, game number 4 going over to OJ, and they win the first best of 5 series. They're going to be going over to the grand finals, and there's a chance. There's a possibility that we don't see LG in the grand finals, depending on how things go, but we'll see.
You know, it really felt like there were a couple moments Luminosity moved in, and they just couldn't find anything.
But keep in mind, LG are not out. They're going over to the losers bracket. They're going to play the winner of Unique Coaching and whoever won the other series. I'm not sure.
To what was happening there, but they realized they didn't need to do much. Zugrug right now just hanging out on that home base. Curios trying to stop them right here, but unfortunately Curios not able to take them down. We know if they were able to take them down, the match would change.
Yes.
Luminosity would win in that moment.
Yeah, a bit of a raid boss, I do think, and that final
That's going to be game over.
That's Snorlax a raid boss, and this time it's a match win for the Orange Juicers.
I mean, amazing stuff here. This is exactly where you want to be if you are the Juicers, right? If taking down LG in the winners finals, they're going to be.
I know they're pissed to see LG winning in losers finals.
Going to join them, but we have so many good teams still left in this tournament.
Yeah.
Hey man, if you're gonna be a competitive team, you're gonna have to play against good teams. Like you can't be like. Obviously, there's some teams you would prefer playing against some other teams, but eventually you're going to have to
watch these games because you're watching two teams play at the absolute highest level right now in these regional finals.
I'm rich. I have 600k points. Okay, guys, I'm gonna open up my GTA really quickly just because I need to spin my daily wheel.
Compete with them at a very high level. Not only compete with them, but the Juicers just showed beat them here in a best of 5.
Like I'm just gonna spin the wheel and log out, just because otherwise I'm gonna miss out for the day. I don't plan on playing GTA today, but I do want to get my daily bonus.
Yeah, Orange Juicers with the gentleman's sweep in that last matchup.
And today's calm day, bro. I haven't played a community day in so long. Like actually, I don't. What is community day today?
We're looking for. We saw them bring in the Absol again, right? So we're looking for another one of those knock up into the Midnight Slash. Try to set up for a big burst of damage. It's kind of uninterruptible. Instead, Snorlax stops them in their tracks, and then we have OG go all.
Oh wait, the server's offline. Never mind.
Inteleon, 2 Pokemon that can learn Fast.
Hey, there you go.
Oh,
I mean, in
just
case you
no
didn't know that, now you do, and you can't unlearn it. That's how knowledge.
Now you know that forever.
Now you know it forever. You can't take that out of your brain. Something important that was in your brain, like your PIN code or something, is gone.
What's the exclusive move?
That's true. One just very early. Buzzwole getting it as one of their starter moves. Of course, Inteleon using it a whole lot in that match, but unfortunately, Curios couldn't use it to actually get away from that threat. Stuck in the Leech Life, and I've been loving how OG's been playing that Buzzwole with this Leech Life combo, is if he gets the Leech Life and that target is not knocked out, it is an immediate Unite move. You can eject button as far away as you want. That is still going to track you with that Super Swole Slam to the ends of the earth. So, Buzzwole just ensuring the KOs in those major moments, and you see why it's so important in that game number 4.
And I got to give a quick tip of the cap there to OG. I've found that OG really likes Zacian, and teams could maybe start to disrupt what's happening with the Juicers when he doesn't get Zacian. But this Buzzwole is looking even better right now, and it maybe is just the Leech Life is exactly how he wants to play, but it looked amazing. So huge tip of the cap to OG there.
Yeah, it was so impressive, and now we're going to have that team in position, waiting for their opponent in Grand Finals, which there still are a few contenders. Of course, Luminosity Gaming, the most likely candidate, as they are headed it down to the losers finals. Losers semifinals will be coming up rather soon. We're going to get to those in a few minutes, I believe. But we do have version 1 and You Need Coaching going to be going up against each other. The first time that You Need Coaching will be on our broadcast this weekend, but a team that has stolen a lot of fans' hearts, I think.
Yeah, of course. It's, a lot of legendary players returning to this game to see what they can do this season. And they're great at it. They're still amazing at the game. You see how deep they're getting in this tournament. A lot of fan favorites right now.
Totally.
And then, of course, we have this team coming from the open bracket, a story that I personally love. What I want to see is I want to see a team like that. The juicers like Luminosity. So the regional finals really has it all right now.
Yeah, the script writers, us, absolutely popping off for this tournament.
We're crushing it right now.
Shout out us
right now.
in terms of the script, and Slowpoke, of course, our lead writer.
Yeah, and he's very demanding. I feel like we're up to all hours of the night rewriting this script.
Yeah, punch-ups constantly.
We got more notes from Slowbro.
Yeah,
Make it better.
But we apply them all, boss.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it is a vague note. We are going to be back here in just a moment. Do not go anywhere. The North American Regional Finals blazes on. We'll be right back. Tip of the cap to you, everybody. Tip of the cap. Quick tip of the cap.
Okay, so we have version 1 versus You Need Coaching. Okay, I think my food is gonna be here soon. And someone else just got here. I'm so confused. Yo, Vampire, how's it going, my friend? LG lost every game they didn't ban Suicune. What a surprise. I mean, the games were close. I think majority, like pretty much all the games were, it could have gone either way. I would say it's more. Yeah, but even the games they lost, they were still close games. But Suicune did have a high impact value. Specifically game, I think it was not last game, the game before. Suicune made a huge difference because they pretty much won the team fight for them. For OJ, I mean. Suicune has a 70% win rate this tourney because it's strong. But you only have so many bans. You only got two bans. So it's just what teams prioritize and what they want or what they don't want to play against. Like, if they don't ban it, they don't ban it. But at the same time, if you lose because of it, then obviously you either need to adapt to it or just take it off the map. Do you think there should be more bans for comp? Yes, but there's not enough Pokemon. That's the thing. Like, the problem is right now is that I want there to be more bans, but like half the Pokemon that are on the roster right now are not even comp Pokemon. Like, you don't play them because they just suck. Like, if I were to literally go to, hold on, let's pull up API Unite really quickly. Okay, let's go down the list. Like Pokemon that are being played right now. Like, no one plays Ceruledge, Charizard barely played. Like, okay, instead of naming the Pokemon, let's do a number count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, arguably 14, 15, 16, 17, debatably 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, let's see, 25, 26, Arguably 27. 28. 29. Kind of falling off. Maybe like 30-ish? The point I'm trying to make is like, despite the fact that there's a lot of Pokemon on the roster now, like obviously like there's what? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. There's 73 Pokemon. At least according to this, alright? There's 73 Pokemon and what? 1/3, almost half, are not even competitive Pokemon. I don't think you need 3 bans right now. But if like more Pokemon were like comp Pokemon, then yeah, you could probably do 3 bans. I just don't think right now it's needed. Unless they wanted people to, like, unless you want to force variety, then they could do it and like make people start playing other things. Like realistically, people would just ban supports. Like they're gonna ban Hoopa, they're gonna ban Psyduck, they're gonna like, let's say pretend if we were to pretend that right now we had 3 bans, like people are gonna ban like Psyduck, Hoopa, Blissey, probably. You could ban something like Suicune if you wanted to, Raichu, maybe a top laner, but like it's touch and go to teams.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Pokemon Unite Championship Series. This is
Still got Clefable and LD,
and it's for North America. Ooh. Looking good.
People don't really play Clefable that much. Like it's still good for sustain, but it doesn't have as much laning presence as a lot of the other stuff, or like as much value, I should say. So it's gonna be Luminosity versus version 1 or You Need Coaching. You Need Coaching, this is the first time they're on the live broadcast, from my understanding. That's what the caster said. That is Lutano's team. He has returned from his retirement for a few tournaments, actually.
It's been incredible right here. The Juicers looked fantastic. Luminosity Gaming going down to them. I think a lot of people would expect that Luminosity Gaming would have an easy time against the Juicers, right? Especially with how decorated their season has been. But the Juicers is a team you can never really count out, Zoinks.
100%. Yeah, it was such a fun matchup. And Orange Juicers showcasing they are a team not to be slept on with that gentleman sweep over Luminosity Gaming. But Kello, I think we were hearing your thoughts just a moment ago. So what were you thinking about that series?
I said a lot, and I think that's pretty much the key word. There was just a lot happening during those 4 matches. It was so tricky to actually pinpoint all of these moments. But, I mean, we do have some highlights here that I would love.
Defenders are also pretty few now.
You know, I've got to show
It's not that they're few, it's just they've fallen out of favor.
My absolute favorite. But here we do have this match here. I believe this was game number 2, actually. One thing that we want to look at here are these pair. The Lapras and the Umbreon.
Okay.
So, if I push play.
Keep an eye on the defenders, folks.
Keep an eye on the defenders. So we do have Lapras coming on in with their Lapras Express. The amount of shielding that Zugrug managed to get from that. Now, this is where the magic happens. We push play here. Slash actually uses their Unite move to steal all of those shields away, just buffing them up. They end up healing. Now, one thing I noticed about a lot of these Rayquaza fights is slow and steady seems to be the pace. It's all about, well, trying to pick them off one by one. Zugrug eventually ends up going down, but it's just the way that Luminosity, they're always scoping the map, seeing who is going to be the next pick. They actually had 5 members there in the Rayquaza pit, but they didn't actually go and rip it, despite having that Gyarados there. They ended up weaving away that Ninetales, and Zugrug has come on back. Let's do a little zoom in here real quick, and I mean, Race Against the Clock, Dodrio tries to zoom on in, but
yeah, Umbreon has always been solid. Snorlax is still the same, but it's gone up in value, I would say,
now we do have our next,
just because of its strong laning and its ability to front line and engage. Umbreon is always the top tier choice, especially because of its flexibility as a defender and support. Not to mention its soft Blissey counter as well. But people like Blissey 3, you can play Umbreon if you want to.
Such low HP, going into 3 members. I mean, they eventually end up getting taken down, but it's just the way that OJ have repositioned themselves once again. So I feel like in terms of their gameplay, it was very similar between the two teams. Once again, just slow and steady. Well, we'll take it off slow-mo.
I love that you
Yeah,
got to
and-
show that slow-mo there because something I didn't notice was how that Rayquaza tornado knocked up Buzzwole and stopped them from getting Curios earlier. That was actually pretty wild.
Yeah, but pretty much OJ have done what Luminosity have done the next game, and then we have our final Rayquaza fight here. Obviously, both of those tier 1s are down, but once again, the defender is who we have to look at. Zugrug going in for these engages, getting these stuns over and over again.
I think it needs a
Big
kit
ol'
rework
Bubble
more
Wrap.
than a buff. Like,
Moves are flying.
I feel like some Pokemon
Ramble here, but
need
Zug
reworks rather than
on down.
just stat adjustments.
The
Because the problem is, like, we've already seen Ho become,
members are down,
like, there was a point where Ho was just like,
OJ, they have
really strong in lane because it did so much damage and it had so much,
these other members out. I mean, obviously Zug didn't end up getting to
like,
take
base
Trina
stat, like,
there, but,
you know?
Trina did make an attempt to come on in. The
Like,
Sovereign
strong
Sword
base stat wise, it was just too
but,
beefy.
I mean,
And then, of course, when it was too beefy, it also did too much damage as well. Then it got nerfed eventually. And now Ho's kind of only good for its Unite move, but
Were kind of wild too. That was really fun to see.
sometimes even the Unite move is not even enough to compensate for its lacklusterness, if you want to call it that. They reworked Fly?
That'd be awesome.
Oh, of course I do. Yeah, we're coming on up to the big screen right here. We've got Flareons from the Orange Juicers. Congratulations, my friend. Amazing series against LG. How did you feel going into this weekend knowing that you would probably run into LG once again?
I can't lie. I felt super confident about this tournament. You know, obviously last month was a bit of a disaster, but
Yeah, they tend to, like,
I feel it was just such a good
Chinese
tournament.
version is just getting updated a lot.
And a little bit stuff more of our
Like, the running joke is, they gave up on the global version of the game.
Hey, it works. We won.
So-
Yeah,
But
amazing.
Not done yet.
Congratulations. It's not done yet. However, you are heading to Worlds. You are heading to the Grand Finals. This is huge for the Juicers. You are, always looked at as one of the absolute best teams in North America. You had a great year at Worlds last year. How do you feel looking towards, Worlds
Hold
on
on.
the horizon?
I think my sister and her husband are here. Give me 1 second.
So that
Let me
you
go
can
say
make
hi.
an offer or possibly win Worlds.
I think just more. I think our team having a bit more time to work together. Obviously, we were formed mid-season last year, so just having a bit more time to build more synergy with each other, I think is really what we needed.
And I guess last question I have for you here, Flareons. Now that you guys are doing so well, you're winning, you're crushing it, can we agree that the Wi-Fi was never the problem?
The Wi-Fi was the problem. That's why we lost. I'll die on that. We got Ethernet. We got Ethernet now, and Ethernet buff is crazy.
Okay. The Ethernet buff is incredible. Congratulations once again, dude. You guys are playing amazing. I'm so excited to see you in this position. They're heading to the Grand Finals. Flareons from the Orange Juicers, everybody. Thank you again, dude.
Yay! Congratulations, of course, on qualifying for the World Championships. That was a match ago, but still, congratulations to Flareons and the rest of the squad for Orange Juicers. And now we're going to be looking forward at a matchup that is going to be between 2 other Worlds contender teams with version 1 and You Need Coaching.
I'm so excited. I mean, 2 teams that have some of the most unique stories that we've seen of any of our Worlds qualifiers in almost any of the regions, right? Of course, version 1, we just talked about it. They really were on the cusp of making top 8s, but now we're going to the
All right, guys.
top 8s.
So what I'm gonna do, of course, as much as I want to spend time with you guys, the food is here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step away from my computer just to kind of eat with the family. I won't be too long, but at the very least I'll eat with my mother. That way I can celebrate Mother's Day with her. And then I'll come back to the stream. I'll keep it on, but obviously I won't be here, so yeah. It'll probably take me 20 minutes, so I'll probably miss 1 match or 2. But at the very least, I'll come back and then... Can they make a stream appearance? Hold
so
on.
far in this tournament, along with this.
And the thing is,
Yeah, Alolan Raichu somehow has become like the best secure Pokemon.
Can they make an appearance on stream? No, absolutely not. Hell no.
Star on the ground is just absolutely unstoppable, and I can't believe, I genuinely can't believe, especially after seeing that last set, how much we're letting Suicune through.
Okay, so
in this
I'm gonna leave my phone here. Like, I'm gonna leave my phone charging because it's at like 6%.
Flareon's getting Suicune, obviously, I think we
I'm
just
gonna go
don't have
eat
anymore.
with my family, and then
That sounds terrifying to me.
I will come back to the stream, guys. So I'll miss this series, or like depending on how. So it's a best of 3. So depending on the results, like if they go 2-0 either team, I'll probably miss the series. But if it's like a best of 3, as in like it's 1-1, they go to game 3, then I'll probably be back by game 3, to say the least. So I'll try to eat quickly, spend time with my family. I'll come back to the stream, guys. So I'll leave a text message on the stream as well. That way people are not asking, "Where's Chen? He left us." Blah blah blah.
Don't play it almost at all or very little, but this is looking to be somewhat version 1, I think, comfort comp. It's a lot of what they played before. It's a lot of what I assume we're going to continue to see them play. Specifically, Riker on this Glaceon has looked really, really good for a Pokemon that, well, it's not out of the meta. It's not being picked like every game.
No, and I guess we were speaking.
Oh god, this thing is so huge.
It is just a wide Pokemon pool to select from. You've got to stick with what you know. And Riker, they have demonstrated they know Glaceon pretty well here, but we actually have another evolution being picked up on the other side. Vin Diesel on the Leafeon. So picking up another Speedster, which means, well, version 1, they have to counter with their own Speedster and Absol. So over onto the dog side, Cats versus dog. I don't know if Leafeon would be considered cat.
All right.
I don't know what Leafeon is.
I'll be back soon, guys. All right. Enjoy the games. I'll be back for the losers finals and the grand finals, of course. But this series, I'm AFK for a bit. So if you guys are still here, enjoy the matches. If not, I'll see you guys a bit later. And if not, regardless, if I don't see you guys later, I will see you, like, Happy Mother's Day to everyone celebrating. And if not, hopefully you guys are having a great weekend regardless, all right? I'll see you guys soon.
Well, the last
Peace.
time we saw it play, when it had a lot of really tanky, I guess, targets to kind of harass, I think it looked really, really good. And it's going to have that again. It's going to be able to catch the Leafeon pretty well if it's not the target of the Leafeon. I like it a lot.
One thing I have noticed on the side of version 1 is they actually have no score stacking items. So they do have 2 Accel braces over on their side, the Zacian and the Absol. So looking for those KOs and assists in those big team fights. And Riker to go get that cooldown reduction with that drive lens as well, looking for those KOs. But we do have a few of those, well, actually only one of those items on Vin Diesel, who is also pairing that up with an attack weight. So double stacking there. The early game presence that Leafeon can have, especially if it goes into that central area, that is something we are going to have to be wary of.
Right. I think that the double stacking on a lot of the central area Pokemon has looked really, really good. So we'll see if they can make it work. Certainly we've seen it happen before. We haven't had a chance to see Unique coaching on stream yet, but this is their first match going up against version 1. This is an interesting match. I always like to talk about the stakes at the start of it, but right now people are just fighting to get into that top 3 and more money and closer to the travel award.
Yeah, they have already secured that world spot, but you cannot rest just yet because, as you said, it's that travel award that either of these teams could really use. But otherwise, some freezing happening down in that bot path as Suicune and the Lapras is going up against that Swinub who has some freeze of their own.
Yeah, there is just a lot of ice. I mean, honestly, this is just all ice when you really think about it. But ironically, a lot of the ice Pokemon that technically do not have the ice mechanic, and then the water Pokemon that has the ice mechanic. So we don't really talk about the typings much anymore. But up top, we get a chance to see that Scarf is waiting in the wings with the Absol, looking for a juicy target. There's definitely some potential sashimi right there. If they do manage to find it, they see it.
They do see it, but they aren't actually taking the bait here. They are going on the dive onto that Leafeon. They do end up getting stunned by that Psyduck and wiped on out. However, JL also ends up getting traded on back.
That's huge, actually. They got the assist, I think, with the Magikarp on that. It is so close to evolving. That's why we're seeing Chisel really just kind of push forward. They also were able to get one of the stacks for one of the new stacking items up on that Leafeon, which we just talked about earlier. They weren't able to score after that because it was kind of a one-for-one trade, but I think altogether they got to be pretty happy with that, as they did just evolve to Gyarados right as we went to the bottom path.
Yeah, and that is before that 8-minute mark. They are at that level 5 already. Otherwise, once again, just the battle of the ice laying down in this bottom path. But we do have this Leafeon coming to join in. They aren't going to dive in just yet, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
No, wait. Oh, that's so scary. They did so much damage, and honestly, it felt like maybe the other two, aside from Leafeon, weren't quite ready to follow up with extra damage there. It did manage to do quite a bit of damage, but the fact they all had to back up after that, maybe not as effective as they would have liked. There's also a lot of aggression up in the top path right here, where we're going to see the goal zone get down pretty low, down to 27 out of 80 already. There's points in everybody's pockets. It looks like Lico's already looking towards scoring. But as we saw, no stacking items at all for Version 1, so they don't need to worry about it too much.
No, but it is a points game after all, so you want to try and take those opportunities wherever you can. Lico did end up picking up 2 KOs though, so that was actually pretty huge for that Zacian. As we do pivot back down onto this bottom path, Vin Diesel playing a risky game with this Altaria at minimal HP, but they do manage to grab themselves a berry, so Altaria don't get the KO this time.
Pretty huge resets coming in from the hyperspace hole on the side of version 1. They were taking a lot of damage, and there's just a lot of harass damage coming from You Need Coaching. Specifically, obviously, Suicune is going to do a lot extra, but I mean, it just adds up from everybody. You can see right there, even the Psyduck managing to take one of the KOs on a defender even. More than significant damage from that Pokemon for sure, even after all the nerfs that it's got. Registeel going down, no contest, no attempt to steal. So that's going to be pretty free for the side of the Unks.
Yeah, I guess knowing version 1, we're outnumbered down in that bottom path. It's just a matter of gathering up all these wild Pokemon, prioritizing this Regieleki, even with the Midnight Slash from Scarf. It ends up being Psyduck JL to lock down another objective for You Need Coaching.
Psyduck True Carry, they're really pushing it as well. Unite's starting to pop off. They're chasing all the way into the speed zone. And oh my goodness, that's a huge reset. But unfortunately, I'm surprised that Wailord went back in. I was going to say, unfortunately, they're going to have to stay back at base because they can't go back through that portal, was what I was going to say before they did. But it's not really going to matter. That's going to be the Regieleki going in. They're going to get a ton of points, potential huge overdunk here. I mean, 28, no, it's going to be 33, which is still pretty good. That's a pretty solid lead. Almost 100 points now for You Need Coaching.
That is going to be so hard to take down that Gyarados. They managed to get in a bunch of stacks and are now at level 10. We have 2 Unite moves available on the side of You Need Coaching. Version 1 also have 2 Unite moves, but they are falling behind in levels here. Absol ends up getting caught on out by the Bubble Beam. They are able to escape though, so no KOs for You Need Coaching here.
I really still am just so curious. Oh, there's a fight going on right here. This is a Unite to, I guess it's not really a fight, more like a retreat at this point from Chisel just getting out of there. The increased speed of that Unite that it got buffed, I don't know, maybe about a month ago, does make it a lot better for escaping if you do need to use it that way. And You Need Coaching taking down the other tier 1 goal zone. So that's going to be tough considering you have a hyperspace hole Hoopa. Whoa, my goodness. That was you know, you talk about melting for an ice Pokemon. That is a literal melting.
Yeah, the sun just got to them and spring has finally sprung. That was absolutely insane, the amount of damage onto that Glaceon. But the thing is, Leafeon, they're 2 levels above them, so they're just going to pack an absolute punch. But we do have some objectives spawning up shortly, as we do have Rika locking down on that Gyarados with the Icicle Spears. They are going to back on up, and there are 2 berries available for them.
Chisel's just playing in a really annoying style. They're taking a ton of damage. Oh, we're going to see the Lapras come in with a huge Unite. They're going to be able to catch out Riker once again. Off the back of that, they are going to take down, or try to take down Liko. Smugglax coming in to try and protect. They're actually getting a pretty solid amount of damage, but Uguay is just going to counter them, dealing so much side damage with that Lapras finally going down. As we actually saw Chisel just completely retreat, not a part of this fight. Maybe trying to steal the Regieleki, but I actually just don't know why Chisel's not fighting. They're just standing in this left side, and Regieleki might actually just reset here.
Regieleki is trying to decide which way to go. It looks like they're going to go back home, but we do have Smuglax getting dragged back by JL. Hyperspace Hole is available, so a double... Oh, never mind, only a single reset as Smuglax ended up missing the bus there.
Seems like a little bit of miscommunication. This is a little bit of a scramble situation for both teams. And Smuglax, with only half HP,
Guys, I'm
going
back.
in immediately.
Temporarily, I need to grab my phone because I gotta complain to the people that ordered my food.
And oh no, they're coming back to the portal. Smuglax immediately. Maybe you just should have stayed at half HP.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back, guys.
But Jizzle will be picking up a double KO streak as only Riker is left to try and fight for this objective that looks like it's maybe never going to go down. Although finally, it looks like it will, as that was a really long fight. Now going down to 3 minutes and 14 seconds.
248 points to 50.
Alright, I gotta end the YouTube stream just because, like, if I turn off my camera, I think, like, the YouTube algorithm, like, thinks that, like, I'm just, like, plagiarizing content type of thing. So I will, like, turn on the YouTube stream when I come back.
There are a lot of wild Pokemon available, both, well, there was on version 1 side.